Earlier, I did go live, but what happened was I was in the sun. And so as I was laying in the sun, the iPhones get overheated and they shut down. So while I was talking and talking, and then I looked and I noticed that my phone wasn't on. That was so hilarious. Anyway, so I'm gonna try to remember what I said and what was my purpose of even going live from the beginning. But sometimes I think it's just best that I just speak from my heart. You know, I do have Els, Holy, and Jill here with me, and I do have my screen dark because sometimes I don't think I always have to go public all the time. I mean, I do most of the time, you know, and if I'm driving somewhere, whatever, if I pull over or if something occurs where I have to talk about it, then I will. But for the most part, a lot of things that people in the tribe have to say about me, I'm ignore it because they haven't done what I've done. They haven't been where I've been and they haven't seen what I've seen. So, and I always think about, Baba mentioned this to me a while ago. He said, when I first started out, when I was on Bushwick Avenue, it was really low. Like they basically stayed away from me. And Baba said that kept me safe. And if you notice, my channel, I don't have my channel up to get views, to make money off the master teacher or anything, because I've been given, I received emails from YouTube where I could join some type of like community or something like that, and I would get paid for my views and stuff. But I don't do that. Hold on one second, family. Yeah, excuse me. So I don't do that. I don't get paid for this channel. And I'm not doing this for money, okay? I've done a lot of work for the master teacher, and a lot of you have helped me. And don't worry, you will be thanked later on. I don't forget anyone. I don't forget anyone that ever helped me from back in Georgia, when we moved to Decatur, from when I moved to Florida, and the people that came down, Rahubat James Stark, and the people that came down to help the Brownstone law firm get on board. And I mean, that's when I started seeing the devils come out. Well, no, there was so many incidents. Man, I got so much stuff to tell y'all about some of these people and the things that I seen. And sometimes like there were times when I went live I wanted to bring it up, but I was like, they're not gonna think that this is real, because a lot of you weren't there. Rahubat, Funk. So let me take my glasses off so I don't have to read the comments. Thank you for all tuning in. For those of you who are listening, and those of you who are asleep right now, and you haven't heard this live, but you get it later on, please do like and subscribe, so that way whatever I talk about, you can get it firsthand. You don't have to wait for somebody to pass it on to you. There are those who don't want to listen, and I don't care. They don't have to listen to me. I'm not here to please anyone. I'm not a part of this world. My focus and my desires is to go home on my planet where I belong. My desires is to see the master teacher free. My wishes are to see the master teacher free, among us again, teaching. And he said when he teaches, it's going to be on the internet. He said he doesn't want a lot of people around him like it was before. He said he's going to close all his stores down, and he's moving to Africa. So all of you who got your stores open, making money off of the master and getting paid and standing in front of everybody trying to sound like you so deep, is he going to shut it all down. And those who think they're superior, just give them time. It'll show you who they really are. Because one thing about a black devil is that they cannot totally submit to the truth. They will always try to figure out how to do things their way. And I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of the teachers that come forth, like that guy from London, I think he has a channel called OSM. I don't respect. He looks like a rat to me. All that nigga missing is a long tail and some teeth sticking out his mouth and some whiskers. That's what he looked like to me. And I don't have to like everybody because y'all like them. You understand? And I don't care who Baba crowns and who he says this or whatever. I don't care. All right? I have my own mind. Just like with Mario, Jessup, and Victoria. He talking about, what did Baba say? Trying to get paperwork to me. I said, I don't got to give you nothing. Nigga, you want it? Go get it yourself. You got a woman that's a lawyer. Y'all making all this money off the tribe. Go get it. Go get it. Okay? Stop trying to steal my work. You know, that's like coming into school, you playing hooky all these years, you gone, you disappear. I'm in class every day. Well, I have to be in class every day because my mother wasn't having it. I'm in class every day, doing my homework, coming to school, and you come strolling in here after being missing every 3 days out the week of cutting class, and you want to sit next to me and cheat off my test because you know I'm smart. Like, no, it's not happening. You know, you got a lot of people in this tribe that do that. And though y'all don't let them do that to you. You see people that's gone, they disappear, or they been reading the books and they know it, and you stay home and you study, you keep your body clean, and you try to walk right, and they want to come around you and drain your freaking energy. And say, hey, what's up, sis? Yeah, let's build. They start acting like they want to build. They really want to drain your essence. They want to take some of your energy because they're jealous and they see that you got this glow about you or this energy about you that looks pure and clean and they want it, okay? And the thing is this, if you want it, work for it like I did. Okay, make the sacrifices. You know, follow the rules like everybody else do. Come to school every freaking day and stop, well, not school, but come to our multiversity every day and stop cutting class. Stop cutting up out here in the world. Stop being weak, okay? And you want to come around people like me and other people in the tribe and drain them. You know, do your part. Do your part. You know, I'm the type of sister that I don't mind helping somebody if I see them putting an effort towards, you know, doing something right. I don't mind talking, helping somebody about if somebody say, hey, can you send me the prayers? Or can I get that prayer that you read? Or I don't mind sending it to someone. And unlike others that try to charge y'all for money, charge y'all money for everything, it's not about that with me. And all them try to lie and say, oh, you know, for the legal funds and what we're doing legally, y'all ain't doing nothing. Y'all ain't doing nothing. And we're going to see who the real people are when the master teacher come out of there. We're going to see. All right? Because I'm not afraid of him. I fear him because I know who he is, just like I do with my mom. I love my mother. I love my parents. You know, I'm not afraid of them. But when I hear that key turning and they coming in, all of a sudden I straighten up, you know. Or just like how when Baba used to work, we used to work in the office with Baba, you know, we kind of slack up a little bit. Then when he come, everybody start turning around, working, you know. So it's like I miss those days. But the thing is, the reality is, my reverence and my love for the master is high. And all of us should have a high reverence for Panda Babi and Noon. And like I said, some people come in that teach, you could tell they mean well. But like I said, it's always a brother. And that OSM brother, he looked like a freaking rat. You know, he was talking, he had a conversation. Somebody asked him a question about the barotheric gland. So he started talking, saying that, oh, well, you know, when you get this barotheric gland, you know, you have to earn it and all this other stuff and everything. First of all, if you're not if your name is not written in the Lamb's Book of Life, if you're not one of their children, you're not going to get it. You understand? You didn't even know what it was until the master teacher talked about it. And then you sitting over here ranting on your channel and you never mention Baba's name. You're doing the same crap that Lifewave did. You're doing the same crap that Quans William Hill did, the young elder. You're doing the same crap that dude Phase 1 did. And hold on, let me tell y'all what Baba says about these people. Hold on. So I was just reading it in this scroll called Hakehu, which is his story. Hold on. I want y'all to check this out. This is Baba's words. Hold on, it says. Hold on one moment. Okay. Um, Hold on, I want to read something. that Baba said about these freaking devils in the tribe that's always teaching class. And don't get me wrong, I like the brother Kafre. Everybody, we all love his style of teaching and the way he teaches and stuff. He's very humble. And there are a few sisters who had things to say, and there are some that I blocked them. I don't even want their feed coming up on my if I'm on any internet website trying to see the news or whatever. I don't want their feed popping up. I block them, because I don't need to listen to your nonsense. I have all access to all the books as well, and I have letters from the master too, because I sat down and I wrote them. You understand? I cared about him, and I know a lot of you did too, but you were just misled by people in the tribe who were jealous. I'm gonna tell you something before I get into this book. What Baba says about these people that come up trying to teach. What was I getting ready to say? It was about Baba writing. I said that some of y'all were afraid to write the master teacher, and a lot of members of the tribe discouraged you from writing Baba, or some of you felt like everything that you had to do, because they used to say this, the administration, they say, oh, if you want to get to Baba, you have to go through us. If you're doing anything, run it to us first. Come through the legal team. And what they would do is just look at your stuff, stare at it, or sometimes there were sisters that got passkey seals that never got it. There were people that had messages that never got it. And this is just the nature of the devil, man, And I don't know, Baba kept these people around him. They would all go up on a visit and they would stand before him and he would say, why am I still here? He would say that to them. And they would come back and tell us what Baba said. And sometimes they used to try to make me think that Baba was mad at me. Those games is over. They used to try to come back and act like I did something wrong. And I used to say to myself, damn, what am I doing wrong? I did everything Baba said. But it's just that they were jealous and they were evil. And they just so a lot of you missed out on things that you could have asked the master teacher, not just to write him to ask about that, but just by reaching out to help him. And then Baba writing you back and then you responding, you develop a rapport and you get to understand how he thinks. And Baba's not the type of person that's going to tell you what you want to hear, which is a good thing, because people that care about you, they're not going to tell you what you want to hear all the time. They're going to keep it 100. They're going to say, listen, let me keep it real with you. This is how this is and this is how that is. And that's why I like to just come on here and just talk from my heart so that you all could hear me. And those of, like I said, if you don't like me, you don't have to tune into my channel. You do not have to listen to this, because there are people that I don't like and I block their freaking channel. I don't have to listen to that brother with that London accent, that OSM, talking about the barytheric gland, telling a guy about, because the guy asked, how do you receive it? Instead of him saying that the master teacher, Dr. Melakazi York, is the one that is the only one that's given the Baba is the only one on the planet that has the power to give it back to us. He's the only one on the planet that has the pen, the pencil, because he said he doesn't write in pen, he writes in pencil. And when I asked him why, he said, because you can use an eraser and erase it. And I said, oh, and I started laughing because I knew what he meant when he said that. Because sometimes you may think that a person is ready, or you may think a person, one of us, can make it, and he'll write your name in there, and then you do something stupid, or you allow yourself to get caught up by the devil, and Bob's like, okay, I got to take your name out. You understand? And that's why the Rumarians, who are the servants of the Riskians, who are the navigators of the Hinduats, there are Hinduats that are shaped like crowns. And if you have L's Holy and Jill, you can go to the back of L's Holy and Jill. You can see it. And the math teacher sent me a picture of it. And he told me not to share it with anyone, and I didn't. But then later on, when the family started to work with me to help me, I shared. He sent one to the Babtech. He sent one to me when we were working in the office. He sent me the original picture and sent the Babtech a copy of it. And I had it for a while, and then I shared it with, I think, like maybe 2 or 3 people. And next thing you know, the young elder got a copy of it, And I know who the person is that sent it to him. You know, just to, listen, let me explain something to you all. There's an alliance of black devils in the tribe. And I'm about to read some stuff to you that we have in our doctrine that you can go back and, like the master teacher says, don't believe me, check it out. You can check it out yourself. I'm about to break some things down to you that I learned from writing the master through all these years and from staying alone and keeping my body clean, okay? And things that I learned from asking questions. You know, sometimes I didn't ask questions, and the Bible would say, "Oh, because you didn't ask me, so I'm not going to tell you now." I was like, "Oh man!" Then I try to ask, "Okay, okay." He like, "Nope, nope, you didn't ask me." You know, so I'm like, it's all good. The math teacher be home, and we'll get all our questions answered. We'll understand who is who. You'll see who's truthful from who's fake, who's the liars, who's deceivers. But this you must know, family. I'm not the liar. All right. I'm not, and don't get me wrong. If I'm in a situation, you know, like when I got locked up, of course, you know, they ask me questions, I lied. It ain't none of your damn business. I don't gotta be truthful to them. Sometimes children, when they lie or they do mischievous things or they hide something or whatever, sometimes it's not good, right, to teach them to be that way, but sometimes it is good because sometimes those things can protect them. You feel me? It's just like somebody knocking on the door. Is your mother here? And she ain't there. And you say, yeah, she here. Okay, could you tell her I came by, and they leave? You see, that's good. But you know what I'm saying? Like it says, there's a movie, an African movie that I told somebody to watch today called The Good Lie. The Good Lie. It's an African movie, very good movie. You got to really watch it from the beginning because it'll seem boring to get into it. It's a very good movie. And what I love the most about the movie is that when those refugees got to America, you get to see how disgusting this country is. Okay? You really get to see how they are from the mind of an African. Okay? So that's a good movie that I would like to suggest that you all watch. It's called The Good Lie. The Good Lie. It's a movie about African refugees. So let's get into this. What I was about to tell y'all about these devils. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, so now let me see what Baba says here. All right, that was really good. This book is really good, y'all. You know. Okay, here it is. I'll start from here. The math teacher says, this is from Pa Hakehu. It doesn't say Pa Hakehu, it's Hakehu, his story. And this is series number 73. For those of you who are not Sabian and you don't know what this is, these are books from the All Eyes on Egypt. Egypt spelled E as in echo, G as in green, I as in India, P as in Paul, I as in India, T as in Tango, Egypt. So all eyes on Egypt. You can Google that and you will find the bookstores to get this book called Hakehu, His Story. Okay? So now if you go to page, it says, if you go to page 25, verse 149. It says, I came in Cashapp, flesh, to lead you towards repentance. Yet many of you, and your stubbornness and your unrepentant hearts, you are storing up wrath against yourselves for the day of Natharu, the overseers, and the days which precede their return by natural nature's wrath. You make the choice to worship their Satu Akak, six ether spirit, Gadad, God, by whichever Renan name in Ragub. Reject your own Mustalafu ancestors. Musbatu, Sabians, I myself urge you all to watch out and be careful of those shadow people, those who cause divisions and distractions. They put obstacles in your way that are contrary to your own true way. Wusabat. Avoid and keep away from them, for such black Mudwadu devils are not serving Panadaru, the overseers, but their own appetites. By smooth and talk and offers of gifts with them and flattery, they deceive the Akal at minds of the young and naive Shakasu people from among Musbatu Sabians. Everyone now has heard about Wu Sabat and your devotion to Baba Yanun, myself, so I am full of joy over you accepting what I came down to Mathah, earth, to warn and teach you, to renew our story, not his story, Chazab at Laz. Yet Musbatu Sabians, I only want for you the right knowledge and the right wisdom and the right understanding, which lead to the overstanding using sound right reasoning Wu Sabat to have Nupu overpower Zupu. You know, Musbatu Sabians, that my visit to you was not a failure. I have previously suffered and been insulted by those of Ibru Za'amat religions, as you know, slandered on, lied about, yet with the Nasar help of our overseers, I dared, even while in prison, to tell you about Wu Sabat, Pasachem, the power of Nupu over Zupu, in spite of strong oppositions. Because what I came down to teach does not spring from faith and belief or other errors or impure motives, nor am I trying to trick you. Don't believe me, check it out. It was my own Medat words to you. Check it out. Do not I could believe me or any other who stands up to teach or preach. Ask questions. Don't just sit and samuh. Listen, talub, seek the facts, and it will find you. And concerning the returning of Pa Nadaru, the overseers, as of 2003, they came in 2013, was the return date for lift, if all were ready, and chanting in the right tone, at the right places, at the right Wakut time, with the right ritual. And all is gathered with Baba Yanun, Pa Kabat, the center, with the three voices in one. Yet we, Motorzaku, Riskians, ask you, Musbatu Sabians, do not become easily unsettled if you fail the lifts of 2003 and or 2013 AD. Don't be alarmed by who speaks without Kadash secret Rakek edge, knowledge. Their reports or writings, their medet words, are those of one blinded by Zamus, religious faith in Mesopotamian, the god, deity, Zoroaster, taught as Ahuru, Mazda, and Anunnaki, who taught Tammuz to teach the Adamites Za'am, religion, Narar, fire worship, on earth, sun worship, and Patat, sky, which became the Lord God of Mapah, heaven and earth, the light of Tapal, world, the eternal flame, bright one. Now this Za'am religion became those of Mosesism, Jesusism, and Mohammedism, and spread over the Tapal world as Judaism, Christianity, and Al-Islam, and the many subdivisions, yet the same roots. Each claim to have seen a bright Nawar light, a burning bush or illuminated Mukwan being. In those days, the only lights were the Shamash sun, Rakak moon, the Narar fire, and the Yarach moon only reflected the light of the sun. So as you read what each claim is truth, you see it leads back to fire worship, a Gadad, God who says you can't see me. Now, I'm going to stop right there because I had asked the master teacher, because he had asked me to look up something in a letter about the fire. And so I said to Panabab Yanun, I said, well, why did they only see the fire? And then Baba said, because he said, if you go back to the book of Moses, he said that the day that you see me, you shall die. And then Baba was like, he broke it down and said, so he came in the form of the fire because he said, if you were to see me, you would die because these are extraterrestrials. Hold on one second, y'all. These are extraterrestrials. These are the disagreeable ones, the evil ones, the gods of fire, Gadad of fire, who taught Tammuz, who told Tammuz to teach the Adamites, the Caucasians, who the Pleiadians created in their image, them religion. And so they also taught them Wiccan, but they taught them that to control them. So what happened was the reason why you couldn't see their faces because they were so ugly or hideous to look upon, or the energy, the powers that they had as beings from other worlds, from other star systems, that if you saw them, you would die from a heart attack. Like, because so they kept them in their minds, the religion, because religion kept them under control. All religions does is control you. So I wanted to read that because the master teacher is saying that don't listen to these people. See, I'm gonna tell you what it is, and I'm just being honest from my own perspective, okay? And I can be corrected to be wrong because I always keep the comments on if those of you disagree with what I'm saying, right? But I think that a lot of us, well, I don't want to say me because I don't feel that way. Some people, they feel the need to go to church every Sunday, right? And they claim they walk with Baba and that they're not under the spell of Kingle, but the books, in other words, if someone is going to teach class, they should teach to the newcomers, and they should always give reverence and recognition to Panabab Yanun. Don't sit up here and talk and teach like it's coming from your mind. Okay, you can't plagiarize because it's like a form of plagiarism because you sit there with the books all behind you, or you sit there with the master teacher's pictures behind you or beside you, and some of you take pictures next to Baba's picture. Okay, that's blasphemy right there. You cannot take a picture. I'm gonna understand if it's Baba in the flesh and you take a picture with Baba, but to take his picture as the savior of this day and time and stand up there and take a picture with his picture next to his picture so that you could look deep or you could look like you're following him, to me, I'm just being honest. It's just how I feel. It's freaking wrong. A lot of brothers do that. A lot of people do that, and they do it because they want to look like they're with him. And the thing is, if you want to look like you're with him, the only thing you have to do is study, follow the diet, and live as we do, and you'll become a part of him. Someone can look at you and see you in him. Like the master said, when you see me, you see the Father, I and the Father are one. So when I see you, I will see Panabab Yanun. I will see his teaching because I know that you're one. It's just like you have a brother and a sister, that a family that lives in a house, and then a brother decides or a sister decides to run away, or they go to somebody else's house. And then when they come back, they don't look the same. They look rough. They look tough. They look tired. They look like they haven't been getting any sleep. They look like they haven't been eating correctly because when they was at home with their parents, they had the fresh cooked meals. They had the rent paid. They had a place to rest their head. They had guidance from their parents. And when they leave, they look like trash. You understand? So that's what it is. It's like if you follow our doctrine and you study our doctrine and you read our doctrine, you don't have to worry about trying to look like you're in. You're already in just by being in, being inside and not outside, being in the court of Panabab Yanun instead of being outside the gates. Stay in. This is why one of the reasons why the master teacher left, so he could separate his people from the fake niggas. That way, those who really care, look how long he's been in there. Those of us who's been holding close to the master, we could have been anywhere in our lives, doing anything we wish, right? Because we have that will to come and go as we please and to do what we want. But those of us who want to stay with the master and stay home and stay inside the bosom of the Most High and hold on to the rope of the Most High, those of us who want to do that, then we get you'll get that glory. Hold on a second. I have to take this gum out of my mouth. I had a piece of gum because it just was, kind of. So I want to say, right, again, I don't have to like everybody because y'all like them. I don't care how many views they get, 100K views, 30,000. I don't care about none of that internet crap. I don't care about the likes, none of that. Listen, I could easily put my I have three, what I have two, three, what do you call that? TikTok channels. I could put my other channel that I didn't permanently deactivate it. I temporarily deactivated. I got 68K files. I could put that back up easily. It ain't no big thing to me. They was sending me stuff I could sell. I could make money. None of that. I put it up because it was just funny stuff that I thought was funny, and evidently everybody else thought it was funny. One of the guys, a guy left a message in the comments and said, "Man, this was so funny. I had to pull over to a Quick Trip." He was laughing so hard 'cause I put a lot of funny things there. You know, I like to laugh, not all the time. I don't think everything is funny, but I enjoy comedy. You understand? So anyway, back to what I was saying. I don't like that brother, that London brother. Okay, I don't freaking like him. And it's like you putting on this color garb and a yellow garb and a orange this and the, trying to look so perfect and your face all shaved off. And like I said, all he misses is some teeth sticking out his mouth, some whiskers, and a rat tail hanging from his behind, whatever his name is. And that London accent, like, people are supposed to, listen to you because you speaking proper, just like they did on the just like they do on that when they give updates to the family, when they have their calls, they got some brother from London that's the moderator. I'm the moderator. And so what, you the freaking moderator? Shut up with your stupid freaking ass. So what's supposed to respect you because you supposed to speak proper, whatever? That's part of the spell too. I don't got to listen to none of you niggas. I got the books. I could study and read it myself. Okay? And I don't want to teach. I don't want to be a teacher. I want Panabab Yanun to come home so we could listen to him teach and listen to his voice with the sounds of many waters and the three tones in one and break it down like a science. Nobody, none of you niggas is like Baba. None of you. You can't be him. You can front all you want to, but once he get out, watch how all your channels shut down. All of your channels gonna shut down with y'all fake freaking self. I can't stand them. Can't stand some of y'all brothers. Y'all get on my nerve. Y'all just a bunch of weak men. Step up and do something. Stop trying to stand up with a crown all the time, teaching like you so freaking powerful. That doesn't make you powerful. It makes you look like a coward to those who of the master. We see right through you. Okay? They said 144,000, but the number was 7,000 that would make it. And the master teacher said all the people that are going to make it can fit in the size of a football field. He said, now that may seem like a lot of people to you all, but think about all the people all over the world. That's not a lot of people. That means that everybody else is going to be doomed. All the mountains are going to crush and everything's going to be destroyed. And the only people that's going to be saved is the amount of people that fits inside of a football field. Y'all better think about that. Listen, I was watching the news the other day, and this black dude gets on the bus with dreadlocks. He sits behind a girl, right? A Ukrainian girl. I'm not racist, man. I don't care. Wrong is wrong. I don't care to who it's done to. All right? She sits on a chair. She's sitting in a chair coming from work with a uniform on. I don't know. She's working at some fast food restaurant. It's a black uniform with green letters with yellow, highlighted in yellow. She had a hat on and she was sitting down and the man got on the bus and sat behind her. And when he sat behind her, she felt the energy because she looked. And then she was like, oh, no. He pulled out a knife and slit her freaking throat for no reason. No reason. Then another dude, you know, goes into a woman's house, asks a couple, an elderly couple, can he charge his cell phone? They let the man in the house, and what did he do? He killed the man, stabbed the man up multiple times, and set their house on fire and burnt the lady. Now, I already know how the news is, how they strategically put stuff out for whatever reasons. But it's a whole lot of killings. And it's our people. It ain't just Caucasians. Yo, I'm telling you, Baba said we're in the last days and times. We are in the last days and times. This is a real serious, wicked planet right now. And like Baba said, that if you don't come in, if you don't walk straight, if you don't come in, meaning walk with him and clean your body out inside and outside, he said, you are going to be a playground for the devil. And Baba said he made a mistake before and he ain't going to make no mistake this time. He taking all of y'all with him. And it's done in an elaborate scheme. And that's how some of them are in this trial. They always try to teach class, and they come as if they come in like they coming in the name of Baba, but they this way use Baba's face. They use his books and his names to attract people, and then they start making it about themselves. You are nobody to me. Okay, I don't care what you teach, what you say, how deep you sound, how good you think you look. You are freaking nobody. All right, the master teacher is the man of the hour, not you, not you. And just like what happened to Polite and the rest of y'all, you're gonna try and you're going to fail. You're gonna fall trying to come up against the master. Now, let me get back to the reason why I was talking. I just wanted to get that off my chest, y'all. Because, I look at people. Listen, when I lived in the Ansar Law community and Bobby used to be with Abdul Wali, he'll tell you, I did not like that man. Bobby used to say, yeah, me and Abdul Wali. And one time I was sitting down, I was like, in my mind, I said, oh, boy. And he looked at me. Baba looked at me. He knew, he kind of got not offended. I don't know if Baba got offended because I couldn't read his mind. He's looking at me like, well, what's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? And what up? I did not like that nigga. I didn't like Obar either. He used to come by with his group of women dressed in green and gold. And I was like, all he trying to do is be like the master teacher. I say to myself, he's jealous. Why you got to do what Baba's doing? Why you can't do your own thing? You see, Baba got this big community and you trying to be him and you can't be him. Because look what happened to you. Yeah, I know the math teacher's incarcerated, but he'll be home. And I'm pretty sure after being in there all them years, most of the men, when they work and when they go to prison, they work out and they come back packed. Baba said he don't got a 6-pack, he got an 8-pack. You understand? I know he's an elder, but I'm pretty sure he's taking care of himself. I ain't never see a man that was ever incarcerated, and I've seen plenty of them because I'm, from Brooklyn, New York. There's some brothers that I grew up with or people from my block that went to prison. They come home looking good, fresh, in shape. You know what I mean? So don't believe the hype. Like I said, like that picture they was passing around. But let me get into what I was saying, y'all. So now, hold on, let me turn this light on. Now listen to this, right? This is what I wanted to tell y'all. What I went live for the other day. I want to talk about the 144,000 and what the master teacher taught me about the 144,000 because he wanted me to get kind of like a visual of what it is, how the Crystal City is, how big it is, and those that will make it. And when we reign, on the Crystal City. So hold on, let me get my glasses. But first I gotta tell y'all this. Hold on a minute. I swear I didn't eat no sugar. I had a little piece of gum and it's just giving me so much gas. Rahubat, Choctaw, Goddess, Glory to God, Rahubat, Nate Dean. Okay, now check this out. Now, let me tell you something. This is about the sister, Dale Elaine Brown. I just want to tell y'all little things that are about her that was deep. And Bobby used to say certain things because, as you know, the master teacher, he speaks in parables. And one of the reasons why is because he doesn't want everybody to overstand. And everything that he says is not meant for you all to overstand. It's only meant for certain people that catch it to understand what he means. And anybody that's ever known the master teacher that's ever worked around him, even when he's joking, he's telling the truth. He might walk by and say, oh, your mother dropped you in your head too many times. That's what your problem is. He'll be walking around, you might laugh, but it's the truth. You understand? That person that he said that to may have been dropped on the floor plenty of times. I remember one time Baba he said this too. He said, people that are crazy in this life is because they did something to drive somebody crazy in their past life. So now they're crazy in this life. He said that the worst thing you could ever do is develop debt to karma. So in other words, you know how you borrowed money or you did whatever and now you owe a debt and they're coming to collect it, a debt collector. So that happens to a person where in your karma where you develop a debt that you have to pay to the universe for something that you did to another person. And the math teacher says sometimes if you see people in wheelchairs and they ain't got no legs, ain't no telling what debt that they had to collect or what they did to not have no legs. You might see somebody that's blind. Well, it may have been something that they saw and they didn't do anything and now they're blind. You understand what I'm saying? Like the brother K Use, he blind and he don't have a foot. He blind and don't have a foot, y'all. Okay? He look like he 105 years old. Why? You understand? Why is that? If you're so Sabian and you're so Wu Sabat and you was here for Bob and you built on the land and you did this, why? Not only did you get shot in your foot on Tamaray, now your foot is gone. And then on top of that, you're laying in a nursing home and you're blind. Think about that, okay? Because they have a debt to karma. It's something that they did in a past life, and now they have to pay for it in this life. You understand? That's just the way it is. No one escapes the laws of the universe. And so I thank Panatharu and I thank the Most High and my ancestors, and I'm going to thank them again tonight for sending that dream to me when I wanted to hurt people that had did me wrong. They said, no, don't worry. They're going to suffer knowing that they tried to kill you when you're still alive. So now they have to live with that guilt. And I know what it feels like. So they let me feel how they feel. And even though, like it says in the Psalms of Yenin, that they pretend while they're in front of everybody that everything is good, but behind closed doors, they're going through hell and back. You know, some of them are walking zombies. They walking around, you know, in a body, but their spirit is somewhere else because they don't have a soul. I remember the math teacher wrote that to me one time about these devils, these black devils. And he said, you know, you're wasting your time with someone who doesn't have a soul. And, you know, like I said, I'm going to put them on the wall again. I'm going to put a big circle and do things. And it's going to be strategically orchestrated, well orchestrated. But it's not something that I'm going to rush and do. Like I said, I don't really like going live. But today, I'm just talking to you all. So I want y'all to check this out. So now, we all know that Panabab Yanun is incarcerated, and we know that the reason why he's in there, like he said in many of his prayers, is that his own family, the people that supposedly had loved him, he was my own family, those I loved, those I cared for, they did this to me, right? But it wasn't just his family, there was other people too. And that's why I said you gotta sit back and watch how people move. You gotta sit back and watch why things happen. Because see, you know what they tried to do? They tried to take me out, right? And the math teacher told me that what they was going to do is they was going to lie to you all. If they were successful at killing me, they was going to lie to you all and make it look like I was somebody that was working to keep Baba in there. You see how them devils work? So, and then, like I said, the young elder had made a comment on Monuma's channel and said, she out, y'all. Tabitjet, she out of here, y'all. They got her. They took her out. That's what he said. And I said, yo, I got back in my hotel. I'm up in my room getting ready to speak. The next day I was going to speak to Baba. I said, wait a minute. How did this nigga know that almost that because it was extraterrestrials that saved my life. I said, how did this nigga know? And when I asked the people and the spiritual people in Ghana, they said because he's a part of it. He's a part of the whole thing. And so now I have some things that I want to read to you all so that way you all can understand, because I don't want y'all to forget what happened and what took place. Because when me and the brother Amunuma, who called himself the Sabian Assassin, when we was on his channel, we was bubbling. And everybody was working with us. People was sending him money. They was sending me money. We was making things happen. People was giving me ideas. And guess what? He went around them. Sanab wanted to see him. The brothers in Brooklyn from that Topper and all of them came down to Georgia. And they was supposedly was going to come to my house. And the brother Toon, he had my address because him and his mate, I had sent them something to carry in their pocket so they could have money. But I was really only doing it for the sister's sake because I liked her. Very quiet sister, never really spoke much. But I don't know, sometimes I throw an eyebrow up when I see people in the same room with people that have something to do with the master teacher being in there. But sometimes they may not know. I don't know. Sometimes Baba may send them there so they could see something. I don't know. You understand? I'm not in that sister's skin. But Ka'atat, I had sent her and her mate something to hold in their pocket. And so they knew my address because I had my return address, I think, I'm not sure. And so I got upset because the brother Toon was telling them where I lived, right? Because they said they was going to come to my house. Like I said, these niggas was trying to hurt me, right? So, and like I said, they're not human. So some of y'all would think, oh, that's just a net. No, that's not him, okay? Oh, that's just a brother menace. No, there are beings inside of them. And I'm going to get into that too if I have time, if I feel like it tonight. I'll talk about it. Or if I don't talk about it, somebody could put something in the chat and remind me, okay? So now, let me tell you what happened. So Toon was like, yeah, Tabitjet, they coming to your house. And then another sister was like, Tabitjet named Lisa. She calls herself Cooktat. Her and the sister Janet Goins, because they had went to Liberia. They both want to be in Baba's family. They want to be Baba's wife. You know, writing him love letters and all that. Just sick women. You know, I've never been that type of woman to sweat a man or you see a nice looking man and, you know, go try to be his girl or write him a letter or try to. I've never been that type of woman. Never will be. That's not my nature, you know. But you do have women that are like that because you see them in concerts throwing their bras and their underwears on the stage to the men that they're crazy about, the singers who they swear up to God is singing to them, you know. And so anyway, so this sister, so I called to him, he wouldn't pick up the phone. And I left a message. I said, listen, let me tell you something, nigga. I said, any one of them come to my house. And now this is what I said to him. I said, you live in Brooklyn and I'm from Brooklyn. Okay? I said, I'm telling you right now, if any one of them dudes come to my house, if anybody come knocking on my door, you're gonna have to find somewhere to live. And I don't care nothing about what you tell Baba or what Baba says. I don't care nothing about that. Let them niggas come to my crib and you watch what happened. And I was upset, okay? Because the thing is this, if I have a document that you want and I said you can't have it and you want it and you trying to come to my house and you even want to kill me to get it, then that means that you don't have good intentions at all because none of you ever tried to work with me. The only time you pretended that you wanted to work with me is because there was something that I wanted or information that I got from Baba that you wanted to know what he said. You understand? So I already know what this is all about. And some of you don't know because, like I said, for whatever reason, you didn't write the master teacher, you know. So now, what happened was, the Sabian assassin at the time, Senab and them wanted to meet up with him because remember, I didn't have this YouTube channel. I had the channel with him and I was talking. And he would call me and say, I'm getting ready to go live. And we would go live and we would just start talking. And a lot of family members would get upset and say, Tabitjet, why he won't let you finish what you're saying? He's always cutting you off, man. You be rolling and he come and say something to cut you off. And a lot of people said they can't stand his voice, the tone of his voice and everything. So we talking. You know, his channel was bubbling, it's popping. We talking about right knowledge. We talking about Baba. We talking about the case. He's talking about people that he know. He's verifying some of the things that I'm saying. Hold on one second. He's verifying some of the things that I'm saying. And we just talking and people leaving comments and he's talking. And at some point, he starts cursing and going off. I got my get and I'll bust. I mean, he was just cursing, going off. And then Baba was upset with me and I told Baba, that's not me. Same thing with the brother Kermit Dwayne Nolans. When the Sabian assassin shut his channel down and he got up, he started yelling and cursing too. And I had to tell Baba, that is not me because they're typing out the words that are being said. They're sending it to you to read and you're reading it and they're not telling you who said what. They're just typing the words out. So it's making it look like I got this filthy mouth. And to be honest with you, I do not talk like that. I don't talk like that unless I'm in a situation where I'm seriously pissed off, where people are trying to hurt me. Then that's another story. You understand? But for me to just sit down, mother effing this and fly, I don't talk like that. I really don't. Okay? I have you call that? A photographic memory. So when I'm talking about a situation, I'm right there. So I'm at that place. So if it's something horrible that happened, then I might slip out a SHIT word or whatever. But I really do not curse, and I don't like cursing. I think it's ugly, and I don't think that women should even talk like that. Okay? However, I've been put in situations, and I'm going to read some things to you, and you're going to totally understand where I'm coming from, y'all. And hopefully, y'all will be smart enough to stay away from these niggas, because it's a coven of witches. They all have an alliance with each other. It's a bunch of them, okay? And I'm going to break that down tonight too. So now, I tell the Sabian assassin, when they said they want to meet up with him, now he's feeling important, because before he met me, nobody wanted to talk to him. Nobody wanted to meet up with him. So now, what's his name? Lifewave want to talk to him. The young elder want to meet up with him, and that other crazy looking dude with them piercings in his nose, the gay guy. He looks really. He remind me of Nas X little cousin or something or whatever, with these feathers and all these crazy markings all over their face. He wants to meet up with him, and then Seneb and them wanted to meet up with him, and he went. And I said, "Listen, don't go. They're not human." And he said, "I don't care. They can't do nothing to me. I got Baba and I got my sage." And they wanted to meet, and they met him at the culture center. Now, if you don't think that those people that met up with him wasn't with Waki before they met up with him, because she's the head witch of them all. You understand? So she had a meeting with them. They all had a meeting, and then they went to go talk to him. Okay? Because they said, "Listen, we got to stop this." And guess what? Right after that meeting, he got on the phone with me, started arguing with me about the document. Said, "Why don't you give it to him?" And I said, "Yo, why is this nigga flip?" And I said, "See, I told you." Then after that, it started getting worse. Now, look, he's working against me. So this is proof to show you all that witchcraft is real, and that what these people are doing is real, okay? And some of them ain't human, because go back a couple of months, go back a year or two, and remember when that brother and I was on that channel bubbling, okay? Things was moving, and then what happened? They broke it up. He let him in. You see? Because the math teacher said, be nice, but don't be open. He let them in. And that's the rule. Once you open that door and you let them in, y'all got to watch that movie called The Lost Boys. Bob used to play that movie a lot. And Bob used to play that movie called The Witches of Eastland. Y'all should watch that one too. Okay? And so once he let him in, that was it. Then next thing you know, he with Lifewave. Lifewave giving him his car, giving him money, giving him herbs, talking about he could heal him of his sickness. He's taking this stuff from this brother. Ain't no telling what that warlock did to it. Okay? So now, a lot of them are witches, and they are members from the water. Okay? Because spirits come in categories, just like families do. Some of them come from the mountains. Some of them come from the waters. Some of them come from the earth. Some of them come from the air. Some of them come from the fire. You understand? And most of them are shadow people. They do not walk with us. I promise you they don't. Like I said, but you have to have that spiritual eye and that great love for Panabab Yanun to see who they are and know who his people are. Like I said, because they're really good at tricking you, because they even fooled me. When I got to Athens, you couldn't tell me these people didn't have Baba's back. They all was working in the office. They had a table set up. They had the Wuna Wupu lessons. They had the incense, the all oil. They had their letters. They was coming back from seeing Baba. I was like, wow, this is Baba. And I saw them. When I first saw Nefu Amenhotep, the first time I saw her, I asked the sister who I live with, Paulette Pippins, I said, "Where's Nefu at?" Because Baba kept mentioning her in my letter. And she goes, "There she go right there." So I looked. I said, "She looked like a lizard." That's the first thing I said. I didn't even know that girl's name was Elizabeth. I said, "Yo, she looked like a lizard." And then Baba wrote this letter to Shaka Malik and them, and they took it down. And there's other brothers that heard it, and they told Shaka Malik, and they took it down. Listen, there is an alliance. There is a coven of witches in this tribe. Now, let me read something to you. This is coming from Panabab Yanun. Hold on, let me get something to drink, because this is getting thirsty. The tea is coming, y'all. Well, it's not tea, but let me drink me some water. 1 minute. I want y'all to check this out. Because when I read it, I was like, oh, shoot. Now I know what Baba talking about. Hold on a second. Let me get a towel. Okay. My throat. Getting thirsty. Hold on. I want y'all to check this out. Okay. Now check this out. This is Els Holy and Jill. This is about Waki. Because like I said to y'all, she's the head witch, right? Her name is Dale Elaine Brown. If you know about numerology, do her chart and you'll see. She has a daughter named Mary Elaine York. Okay? They are the Yorks. Now, I explain to you why the master teacher changed his name to Melakazi York because of al-Islam and its affiliation with terrorism. So because of Pandabab Yanun being the leader and our spiritual teaching God and the head of our tribe, he has men, women, and children, lives in his hand. Okay? So he's responsible for us. So he has to be smart and think. So Baba said, I'm moving down south. My name is Reverend Dr. York, and I'm a Christian now. Hello, amen, hallelujah. You see what I'm saying? And we became Native Americans first to get in. So we need the Native American, the title, the Yamasis to get into the land. Then when we got in, then Baba could teach us what he came to teach. And then, what he came to teach. And then after that, we became Christians, and then Baba got into the Lodge, the Eastern Star. Look, this is all a form of protection. And many of you just get stuck in those schools, and you just refuse to move on or just walk with him. He said, walk with me, walk with me. He didn't say follow me, he said walk with me, right? But when you walk with someone, you following them. It's the same thing, but walk is an action, has more power, So now, this is Revelations chapter 17, verse 3. Now I'm going to break something down to you all. And like I said, don't believe me? Check it out. Listen, Dale Elaine Brown is a witch. She's an evil woman. She's not a good person. She does not like children. She doesn't like herself. She doesn't like anybody. And I mean, since she's been in this tribe, I done seen her go through so many different men, okay? Since Baba's been in there. When Baba was home, his wife, Kathy, she started dating Kathy's father. Why? Because that's his daughter. So when he wants to go see his daughter, she's in now. She gets to see Baba and play him close. You feel me? And I mean, I know she didn't even need to be with Kathy's father, but like when I found that out, I was like, damn, like how many dudes you gonna be with in the tribe? Her daughter's the same way. She done ran through brothers too. Now, check this out. Revelation chapter 7, verse 3. It says, and he advanced me, John, son of Zebedee and Salome, to the wilderness of North America, in the soul traveling in the spirit form. So now this is John talking about the spirit who carried him away. Hold on, let me go back to see who he's talking about. Okay, let's just see. He said, and he advanced with me, and he advanced with me, John, son of Zebedee and Salome, to the wilderness of North America, in the soul traveling in the spirit form. So I, John, son of Zebedee and Salome, saw a confidant wife sitting upon a beast, the evil one's empire, headed by the United States of America through the United Nations, colored red as the robe of the Queen of England, the mother of America, manipulating and controlling it in names of blasphemy such as God, Jehovah, Jah, Al, Lat, deity, etc. He is the beast representative of the evil one's empire, headed by the United States and the EEC, Common Market, has 7 heads, being England, Russia, France, Germany, Spain, Italy, and the United States, and 10 horns being England, Spain, Germany, Russia, Hungary, Italy, Greece, Turkey, and the United States. And the confidant wife, Babylon the Great, the harlot queen, arrayed in purple and red color, the colors of a harlot, also the chief color, worn by popes and cardinals, and with golden ornaments, with gold and precious stones and pearls, she hides her face. All of the evils that she does behind wealth, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and impurities of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written. This name is pornography. That is secret because she has disguised herself as something great. But in effect, she is the product of all evil, or of all the evil one's empires which came before her, the big Babylon mother of all pornography and abominations of the planet Earth. America is the home of all kinds of perversions, lesbianism, homosexuality, incest, bisexuality, rape, and bestiality. And I, John, son of Zebedee and Salome, saw the confidant wife drunk from the blood of the holy ones, meaning that the harlot has persecuted and killed the righteous just because they were righteous, and from those who bear witness to the Messiah Jesus. So I, John, son of Zebedee and Salome, was amazed when I saw her great wonders. Hold on, oh, here we go. Check this out, y'all. It's getting deep. So, Revelation 17:7 now. So, the Anunnaki Elohim said to me, why are you so amazed? I will inform you about the confidant wife's secret and the beast who carries it for her, who has the 7 heads and 10 horns. The devil's empire keeps the harlot's secret. Whenever the harlot, the United States, commits any kind of atrocity, her compatriots look the other way. All the nations of the world protect the United States' reputation as a world power. Now, as for the beast, the United States, headed by the United States, which you saw, he was old Babylon, and he is not existing now in the time of John, son of Zebedee and Salome, yet is determined to come again and is now here. He will ascend from the bottomless pit on June 6, 1966 AD, to give birth to mortal sons. This is the year that the evil one and his agents began to destroy the Nubian race spiritually, mentally, and physically on a large scale. Now, check this out. In the year 1966 AD, the devil, Satan Lucifer, gave birth to 13 children. His sons were born in every country that he controls: America, Germany, Iran, India, and China, to name a few, all over the world. On June 6, 1966 AD, one of Satan's 13 sons was born in the Western Hemisphere in New York City. You, the Nubian populace, did not even know what was going on because they kept everything cloaked under some type of disguise. The devil, now we're on Revelation 17:8. The devil has camouflaged these factual events in a series of movies and has told you the truth without you even realizing it. He purposely puts everything that he is doing right in front of your face. You are just so far under the spell that you are not able to see it. The first movie that dealt with the birth of his son was Rosemary's Baby, a movie that half of the population in America saw but just looked at it as sheer entertainment. On June 6, 1966 AD, Satan was born in the flesh unto Rosemary in New York, in the New York, in the Dakota House. New York is the new capital of America that the European family York. You see? So, what Baba is saying now, Baba has said that his last name is York spelled with an E on the end. Yorke, because that's how they spell it in Africa. So what the master teacher was saying to us a while back when Nephunum was going back and forth on a visit, he kept coming back up. And as I said, he was speaking in parables. He kept talking about the Yorks and the Lancasters, and said for us to watch that movie called The War of the Roses. So I kept trying to find a movie, and it was like I couldn't find a freaking movie. This other movie kept coming up with that man that played in that movie, Fatal Attraction, with that girl. I forgot his name, that Caucasian man that always having one of the comedians on Def Comedy Jam said that he be having sex in all the movies. I forgot, but I forgot it's that Caucasian man name. It was a fight. All it was him and his woman. They just kept fighting in the house. But now, anyway, so maybe y'all could find that movie. And if you do, send it to me at ashantizulu@gmail.com. ashantizulu@gmail.com. Please send me that movie. It says, so now let me go back. On June 6, 1966 AD, Satan was born in the flesh unto Rosemary in New York, or the New York in the Dakota house. Now, the master teacher has said this over and over again, that Dakota house is a home for witches. And that Roberta Flack, and he got a picture of her in this book, and I'm going to tell y'all what pages is as I continue to read this. He has a picture of Roberta Flack on the cover. So in my mind, I'm like, why does Baba have Roberta Flack here though? You know? And so he has a picture of her because she's a Nubian. She's a sister, right? Not my sister. But hold on a second. Excuse me. She's a Nuwap, no, not Nuwapian, my bad. She's a sister, right? She's a Nubian sister, Roberta Flack, and she passed away, but Baba said that they did something to Donny Hathaway and used him as a sacrifice, and they killed him, right? And they tried to make it look like he was crazy and he committed suicide. So if you watch the movie Rosemary's Baby, there was a girl in there that committed suicide too, and they found her body on a sidewalk with her eyeball sticking out. And there was this chain that she had around her neck that had this stench smell to it. And the girl said that the people found her on the street and they let her stay there. And her and Rosemary was talking, and she said, listen, you mind? Let's do our laundry together. She said, because this basement gives me the creeps. And she said, yeah, we could do our laundry together. Now, the dude who helped film this movie was the dude Anton Levy. Now, when I put his picture on the wall, like I said, if you look at him, you could see that he looks just like Joseph Hibner. Now, if you do the research and you look at the year that Anton Levy died, you look at the year that Joseph Hibner came on Tamaray with Robbie, and I got it in writing. Baba said, Robbie is evil. He told me that. He said, now I got to protect you from evil people that know your name, from evil women that know your name. He's talking about her. He called her evil. So if the master teacher calls a woman evil, then she is. And if he says that, look at her husband, he looks like Anton Levy, just like him, just like there was another picture that Baba sent me of this murderer, this serial killer, and he looked at just like Sheriff Sills. And Baba said, show this picture to the family and let them see how this man looks like Sheriff Sills. So that day when I went to class to show them the letter, they was like, no, we got some updates, Tabitjet. That's going to have to wait for another time. So I just sat down because, I'm not really pressed to be, first of all, I don't like crowds. I'm uncomfortable talking on a stage in front of everybody. You understand? But there was times that the math teacher gave me letters and wanted me to read it to the family. And they used to get real jealous. I mean, real jealous. And I said, dog, anybody else could read a letter. But when I get one, it's a problem, So I wasn't really up to even really going to class. Baba had to tell me, listen, you need to go to class. It's some important stuff that you need to hear, the updates, and read. Some of it is about, you all. You children of Most High, don't miss. He said the readings are important because before the books came out, the actual facts, the Master Secrets, and the Apocryphs, we had these things called readings in Athens every single Tuesday. We would have these readings. Okay, so now let me get back to this. So Baba used to talk about the Yorks. And he said he used to talk about the Yorks and the Lancasters. He wasn't talking about him because remember, y'all, the master teacher changed his name for protection, for protective reasons. That's not his real last name. Okay, he switches his name anyway, so nobody knows Baba's real name. So now he says New York is the capital of America that the European family York established in the 1800s AD from the Yorktown, England. York is the seat for the Statue of Liberty, which is symbolic of the Queen of England. The Statue of Liberty is a woman coming out of the water with 7 horns holding the torch. The Statue of Liberty was given to America by the Grand Orient of France. It was originally called Liberty, enlightening the world. It was given as a gift from the French to the American people to honor the 1976 AD centennial celebration. The exterior copper shell in the form of a classical draped female figure carrying a torch was designed in 1870 through 1875 AD by a French sculptor named Frederic Auguste Bartholdi. The Masonic Lodge of France gave it to them. Now remember I told y'all that the Masons are the ones who got the master incarcerated. All right? It's a Masonic thing. And I told y'all that they did rituals and they did all kinds of evil stuff. And I'm going to get into that in a minute too. Again, the Masonic Lodge of France gave it to them. It was made of wood, but it fell. Then it was reconstructed of copper. The Statue of Liberty was unveiled in the New York Harbor on October the 26th, 1886 AD. There's a picture of Rosemary from Rosemary's Baby. Now, on the next page, Els Holy and Jill, on page 734, there's a picture of Roberta Flack. It says the Dakota House. Then it says Roberta Flack. If you look at Roberta Flack and you get a picture of Mary Elaine York, they look just alike. They got that same look, that same witch energy. Now, Baba says this on Revelation 17. We on Revelations chapter 17, verse 8 now. Now, back to the point. Rosemary of the movie Rosemary's Baby was not a fictitious character. She was a real Amorite. The name Rosemary, Satan's mother, was chosen because it symbolizes the ancestral background of the physical devil, the Amorites. Let's break down the symbolism of the name Rosemary. Rose. The rose is a plant that can symbolize many things. The phase of its life cycle are comparable to the 4 Babylonian empires. Its beauty represents the glory and grandeur of each of these empires by death and by their decline and eventual end. Its rebirth every spring represents the rise of a new, even more glorious empire out of the ruins of its predecessors. The thorns of the rose plant represents the pain and suffering experienced by the countries that have been at the mercy of their rule. The rose is also symbolic of the War of the Roses, a war which occurred in Europe in the 1800s between 2 families, the Yorks and the Lancasters. These 2 were Amorite cursed seeds. The Lancasters did not want to intermarry with the Yorks. Thus, a family feud occurred, resulting in the Lancasters moving to America to the south. The American so-called cracker is the pale man who is the same as the European. The reason why the Amorites are called crackers is because during slavery, they used to crack the whips across the slaves' backs. Mary. Now that's who Dale's daughter name is Mary. The name Mary represents the paganistic and satanic religion which they uphold, Christianity. Mary was the mother of the Messiah Jesus. But in order for Christianity to falsify the Trinity concept, they used Nimrod, the great king of Babylon, and his mother, Semiramis, who he married. Everywhere the statues appeared of Semiramis holding little Nimrod, she was accepted as the queen of heaven, Ashtarte. This is the mother and child idol, Madonna, holding a baby. Her symbols became the moon. Nimrod, her husband and son, became known as Baal, the sun god, and his symbol became the sun. Now, this is the part that's very important. The devil has to set up a coven an assembly of witches to exercise his satanic powers. But before the coven can do this, it must consist of 12 members, with the 13th member being the devil himself. Now, when the master teacher got incarcerated, they took a coffin. It was 12 witches and warlocks. Okay, when I say witches, I mean male witches too. Okay, and what they did was they took the master teacher's belongings, put it in his coffin, his clothes, his items, maybe some of his jewelry, some tapes, some books, and they put it in his coffin and they did a ritual, right? But now somebody was telling me, because I had got two spiritual people that mentioned this to me. But like I said, some of them spirits from the lower realm, a lot of them lie a lot. They don't speak the truth. Because when people who are mumbo priests or spiritual, whatever, they don't contact their ancestors. They contact other spirits that are not related to them. But see, that's neither here nor there, because even your ancestors will lie to you. But the master is an avatar, and he's able to have beings come in and out of him in spirits, but he can control so that bad ones won't enter. Excuse me. So some people are just naturally gifted. They can just talk to you and tell you everything from within, right? They're just gifted with the spirit of truth. And you can sit down and you can have a conversation with them, and they can tell you where you came from. You can ask them a question about somebody. What's going on? Is this person truth? And they can break down things and tell you everything in detail about people. Those people are just naturally gifted, right? And then some people go through spirits. Some people are born in Africa, where they contact the Orisha and they do readings and stuff like that. So it was told to me, first of all, by the master teacher. Baba wrote somebody who he told to share that information with me. And they said it was me, this brother who had the letter, who had the information. Was from word of mouth from Baba on a visit. This brother used to go and visit Baba. It was me, that brother, his wife, another sister. We was all at their homes, whose name I'm not going to mention. And he said, we was sitting there, and he said, they did a ritual, a coffin ritual. So I said to the brother, well, where did they get the coffin from? Because he said, good question. He said, Joaquin, who is Dale Elaine Brown, who is a witch also, the head witch, that she was dating a mortician. I said, what? I said, that's crazy. Like, who would date a mortician? Those are people that bury the dead, or the people that have access to coffins. I said, what? And he said, yeah. And he said, they took everything and they buried it. So the sister that was sitting next to me, she just started busting out crying, y'all. Like, to the point it almost made me cry. And I said, what's the matter? What's the matter? And she said, because when Baba first got locked up, because remember when I was locked up, Baba was in jail as well. I got locked up September 2002. Baba was already incarcerated in May, and we was in the same prison. So I didn't know what was going on until I got out. And then when I got out, the math teacher told me to go to Athens, Georgia. And I was in Athens from November 2004 until 2008. I think we left and went to Decatur. So I stayed in Athens for 4 years, Decatur for about 4 years. And all the time I was around these people. So when we got to Decatur, that's when this conversation was being had. And she said that, and the sister started crying. And I said, what happened? She said, because Baba kept telling her, bury them like they buried me. Because this sister was into, I don't want to say Ifa. I don't know what her culture was. But she knew Baba for many, many years from the Ansar days. But her family was into that kind of culture, you understand? And she wrote Baba a lot. And he wrote her back and said, yeah, bury them like they buried me. Because she told Baba, I'm going to get a John the Conquering candle and burn it for you. And he said, yeah, bury them like they buried me. He said to the sister. And so when the brother said that, it all made sense to her. And that's when she started crying. Because one day I was going to Baba was mentioning something about Rochelle York, right? Because Rochelle York was one of the sisters that messed up Baba's repatriation papers. See, they were all trying to block Baba from being repatriated to Liberia. You see, and the main thing they wanted to do was get his repatriation papers. So what they did was they took Baba's original passport, took a picture of him, a photo of him in prison, and this is when Baba was being tortured in Clayton County. And it was this, you could tell Baba had lost a lot of weight. You could tell he didn't have any sleep. And they took a picture of him. They took one of those pictures of him when he was tired, skinny. Y'all see it because they even posted it on YouTube. Who you think put that on YouTube, y'all? Who you think did it? It was the witches. Rick, Michelle, Neeful, Joe, Robbie, Waki, Fatima York, all of them niggas. The young elder who's trying to hide and act like he got this love for Baba. There is an alliance of them. They all work together. Do you understand? These are all witches and warlocks. And don't say Sabian assassin because I know you're listening. They ain't do not. They did, dummy, because you used to work for the master, used to work with me to help him, and now you on their side slandering my name, you idiot. Not listening to your sister. I told you don't go around these niggas. You went around them anyway. And guess what? You would have been dead if it wasn't for me. Because Waki came up to that culture center and she said she wanted to buy bendies. And I said, hold on a second. I said, let me find out. I asked somebody that used to go to the bookstore when they had class. I said, yo, they got bendies in there? She said, hold on, I'm at the bookstore right now. She said, yeah, they got bendies. She asked the brother who calls himself Amanuma, who was a Sabian assassin at the time, yeah, I came in for bendies. And this is what I said to him. I said, if she go in her purse and pull out something to give it to you, do not take it, is what I said to him. That nigga came from out of that store. He said, yeah, she tried to give me something. And he took a whole pack of the bendies and just put it up there and said, you can pay my mother later on when it's over. And everybody that goes around her has bad things happen to them. Everybody that goes around her has bad things happen to them. They either fall, they either break a leg, they either get sick, or something happened to them. She is a witch. They were born witches. And like the master teacher said it in his book about the Yorks and the Lancasters, that is the lineage of them. That is who they come from. They come from that lineage of those Yorks. Okay? And if you look at her, they're not related to Baba because she has a flare nose like a pig. So does her sister. So does her mother. Look at their nose. And look at the crown that's on Waki's mother's head. Yes, she is a witch. Yes, she protected the master teacher when he came here. That's his adopted mother, and she protected him. You understand? And he came in that family to protect. It was all about protecting the child because when the master teacher was in Africa, they were trying to assassinate him, his father, and all of them, and they had to leave. And his brother, Said Sadiq, flew to London. And they took Bob and his father here to this country. They got that birth certificate, and they didn't have a name on it. It said male child York. And look at the book of Noah, the true story of Noah. The family lineage is back in that page. And also read the Ratid. You'll see Baba's family in there. You won't see a picture of his mother there. And if you look at the holy tablets, he says, I dedicate this to my mother, and there's not a picture of her in there. That means his biological mother, okay? I'm not taking nothing from her mother who did what she did to raise the master teacher. I'm speaking the truth, family. I'm keeping it 100 today, all right? And every day on my channel, you're going to get the truth, whether you like it or not. I don't give a damn because a lot of y'all are nothing but witches and warlocks and you're children of fire, you're shadow people, and you don't love Panabab Yanun, and you have no love for his followers. You don't know what love is. You only have a spirit. You don't have a soul, just like an animal. You're soulless. You're empty. Nothing in there. It's hollow. Okay? So now, what they did was they took this coffin and they put all of Baba's stuff in there and they did a ritual, and it was 12 witches and 12 warlocks, okay? I don't know how many, but together was 12 of them. And the 13th person represented the devil himself, and they did what's called the snake and tongue coffin ritual. Think of it. Say it fast. Snake and tongue. Snake and tongue. Satan. Satan. You understand? This is what Baba says again. This is in L's Holy and Jill, chapter 7, verse 8. This is what the master teacher says. The devil has to set up a coven, an assembly of witches, to exercise his satanic powers. But before the coven can do this, it must consist of 12 members, with the 13th member being the devil himself. Now, then Baba goes here. Coven, an assembly of witches, from Middle English coven, a gathering, covenant. Convent, the building or buildings occupied by nuns who practice witchcraft. Middle English from Old French, from medieval Latin, conventuous, from Latin, a coming together, assembly, from convenire, to come together, to convene. So this is how you know that they're witches, because how could you claim that you love the master teacher so much? They never did anything to take those audios down when they tried to publicly humiliate Baba and film him in court, losing so much weight, looking like that. You understand? Film him in court and put his picture on YouTube for everybody to see. And they made sure that they slandered the master teacher's name and said that he did this, even when Abigail came back and said that it was a lie and that Jacob got them together and they all went to South Beach, Florida to make sure all their lies lined it up. And then I also read to y'all from the mock deposition with what's her name? Ada Nicole Lopez. I read that to y'all with what she said, okay, and what she did, how she had sex with minors, and they put her up there on the stand. All these pedophiles. Jacob York is a pedophile. Damian Price is a pedophile. What's her name? Ada Nicole Lopez is a pedophile. And all them girls that claim that Baba did that, they all had anal chlamydia. What the heck is that? Anal chlamydia? What is that? And what would make how would a doctor know they had anal chlamydia? What does the blood test show that there's anal chlamydia or whatever? I don't know. I mean, it's just is weird, y'all. All of them had anal chlamydia. They was all sleeping with each other in a house that Jacob York told Bill Osinski that he made a safe haven, like a halfway house for them to come to so that they could those were all lies. They was getting drunk, they was doing drugs, they was smoking weed, they was smoking liquor, drinking liquor, smoking, they was doing it on the land. Baba left Tamaray, left Abigail in charge, and moved and got the house in Athens, Georgia to get away from them niggas and say, here, you can have it. You want to be in charge? It's all yours. You feel me? And then Baba would come back and teach and leave and come back and teach. You feel me? So these people that are in this tribe, like I said, most of them standing right in front of your eyes, in front of you, because they have to camouflage themselves, because you would never think in a million years that it's them. Why? Because they say, I love Baba. I'm teaching the master teacher. No, they're not. Watch what they teach. Watch how they move. Like I said, they make it about Baba. They use his doctrine. It's all to cover themselves up. It's a cover up, like they doing them evil comic books. They always have an alter ego. Oh, he's a school teacher with these glasses. He's this, man that you see. They teach you how to be evil. He has these glasses and he's such a nerd, and But then at nighttime or when something happens, he turns into this superhero. You understand? He turns into Batman or whatever, But daytime, he's Clark Kent and all this. You get what I'm saying, y'all? Because I'm not really into them comic books and stuff. But the math teacher said the comic books are evil. He said that. He said, and you can't go to school with a Bible, but they'll let them come in there with their freaking comic books. You feel me? So they all have alter egos, and they use our doctrine as their alter egos. So now, let's go to the next page. So, like I said, they don't walk with us. It's a coven of witches. And I'm trying to tell y'all this. And sometimes it feels like I'm talking on deaf ears, because most of you that'll listen, the majority of you are those people, or you work with them people. And some of you are the witches. You're not a part of the coven, which is the inner court, but you're a part of the coven. You feel me? And they have this look for each other, and they know who they are. You see what I'm saying? And they do their father's work. That's what they're here for. Okay? So you all, be careful, like I said. So now what else does Baba say on Revelations chapter 17, verse 8, page 738? An unlawful agreement, a coven, literally coming together, binding agreement made by two or more persons or parties, a compact, a pact, as with the devil. From the American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language. The congregation of a coven exists predominantly in England, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Salem, Massachusetts, which a lot of them are from, a lot of them from Boston. You ask Baba when he came to the United States, where did he live? He was in Boston. Where was Waukee? In Boston. Where was where did she, I don't know if she gave birth to her children in Boston, but she's from Boston. Her mother and them is from Boston. Ask anybody. She's from Boston. Where's that brother Iron Bolivar LaFranc from? Boston. Where's the other girl Mufida? She said her sister and all are from Boston. They all from Massachusetts, Australia, New England, and South America. The Pope, who heads Italy, one of the countries controlled by the beast, the President of the United States, as well as political leaders of other countries around the world, are all a part of the Brotherhood of Satan. Again, the Pope, who heads Italy, one of the countries controlled by the beast, the President of the United States, as well as political leaders of the other countries around the world, are all a part of the Brotherhood of Satan. And what do you think that falls under? The Masonic Lodge, okay? They are Satanists. They are not Sabians, okay? They are Satanists, and you could tell because they look dingy. They got a dingy look about them. They could put on them garbs. They could roll their R's and talk Sabathia and act like they whatever. I see right through them. I've been around them long enough. They're witches, and it's a lot of them in the tribe, a lot of them. Now, what they don't want to tell you is that there is a connection between the Bush and the Roosevelt family. Now, I'm going to stop right there because Panabab Yanun had broke something down to me, right? He said that the reason why he's incarcerated is because they're really trying to prevent him from keep animals out of your mouth, have respect. I don't eat animals, whoever said that. Says what they don't want to tell you is that there's a connection between the Bush and the Roosevelts. Now, check this out. The master teacher was breaking something down to me, right? And then right after he wrote that letter, they had stopped his writing privileges. He told me that the reason why Sheriff Sills started to come on the land like that and attack him was because he saw a craft over the Black Mere on Tamaray. Now, Baba said it wasn't one of our crafts, it was one of theirs. Now, I didn't get a chance to ask Baba what was on the craft and how did that, and then Baba said, they're really trying to prevent me from opening the Stargate. Why? And Baba said he had two hemorphidites and hermaphrodites already on Tamaray, and he was teaching them how to read ancient hieroglyphs, right? And I said, what is that? And he said, if you really look at his case and you look at the names, he said, they're not really names, they're titles. He said, look, Bush, Royal, right? Marks, Woods, Seals, Howard Richard Seals, even though it's spelled S-I-L-L-S, it's really S-E-A-L-S to seal. Marks, Woods. He said, look at the names. You see what I'm saying? Prior. You know what prior means. What does it mean when someone has a prior? That means something that they did before. What's Duswa name? Damon Alvin Pryor. What is his first name? Damon. Demon. You get it? Adrian, Patrick. What was the boy's name? In it, well, Baba talks about Adrian Mercado, right? In the movie Rosemary's Baby. Baba said they are not names, they are titles. What is Shalimar's father name? Roosevelt Richardson. You get it? I'm not saying that her father was a part of it. What I'm saying is that their names, not their titles, not names. And the reason why the math teacher is incarcerated is because they're trying to prevent him from opening the Stargate. And if you want, and Baba said that the reason why the land doesn't exist anymore is because they pissed off Amun Ra. And Baba said Amun-Ra got upset and destroyed the land. And if you want to know about this story, watch the movie called Stargate. Now, when I was in Florida, in Orlando, I had got this letter and tried to share it with Rimpet and another brother named Rayna War Amun. But he's a pedophile. His real name is Victor Felix. He's a registered pedophile. He was on doing child porn and watching some movies. And when Baba got locked up, he slept with one of the master teacher's mates. These niggas, like I said, y'all. And then he was like standing up there teaching class. It got to the point where I was like, why am I sitting in here in front of this dude? First of all, he's a Celtic. He's Hispanic, but he's a Celtic, okay? And he had on his garbs, and I was sitting there one time, and me and this girl was laughing, and we said, yo, all that nigga gotta do is go on a plane and go, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And I said, they're going to knock him down to the ground. You know, he was trying to teach class and act like he was so deep. Then he was trying to find out stuff about me, asking me who's my deity and all this dumb Yoruba stuff. I was like, man, let me get out of here from away from these dumb niggas. Then one of the brothers got mad named Madudi, and he smelled like Duty too, Madudi. And he said, his breath smelled like doodle. And he said, he came in front of my house and put an upside down penny in front of my door. And when people do that, it's because they want you to lose they try to make you lose everything you got. I said, yo, who this nigga? First of all, Baba told us to put salt water in front of our door because evil spirits can't pass through the salt water. He told us to put mirrors facing our windows so that spirits can't come in the house. You see? And he said to open the doors and smudge. He said, don't say too much because you don't want to get rid of your good ancestors. But every so now and often, you open all your windows and everything, you smoke to get rid of the spirits. He said, because sage gets rid of any and all spirits. Why would the math teacher tell us stuff like this, tell us to chant and give us a diet and tell us to do things? Because he's trying to protect us. Okay? Those of you who will make it, because everybody ain't going to make it. And that's why when I heard that man talk about the barytheric gland, you don't even know what you're talking about. You only know what Baba told you. And he said only the children of the Most High will receive it. If you're not one of them, you're not going to get it. Because of things like this. You go live, you go on a chat room, you sit up there and act like you're somebody important, and you abuse it. And that's why the real affirmation is from mouth to ear. Because you egos sit there and you Mr. Know-It-All and Mrs. Know-It-All and act like y'all know everything. Y'all misleading people. First of all, we don't wear saris for all you sisters that's telling everybody to get a sari, and I'm having a sari giveaway. We don't wear saris. We wear what's called salwar kameez. SALWAR. The word sal and the word war, kameez. KAMEEZ. And the tops are called kurtas, KURTA. And the bottom is called, no, it's called a kurta set. You can get a top or a bottom, or you can get the whole salwar kameez with the dutta, which is the shawl. Stop listening to these freaking idiots and these people that don't know the master teacher. And even if they do know the master teacher, it means nothing. Like I said, you know who's who and what to do by reading the books and reading the updates and the affirmation. Because there's so many updates that we had since Baba's been in there. You can go back and read them. Hold on, there's somebody that I know that got all the updates. I'm going to find out who it is. And next time I go live, I'm going to try to see if I can get them and pass them all to you all, okay? Because this has got to stop, man. Y'all got to stop following false teachers and people who stand before you acting like they love Baba so much, because those are the ones that are the devils. They stand right. They have to camouflage themselves, and they're very good at making you think they're so good when they're freaking devils. Okay, they cast spells. They stood around a coffin. They put our Savior's stuff in a coffin. They did rituals to bury the master, to bury him alive, his own people. And even when they did that ritual in South Carolina, they dug a pit, and Baba wrote a letter about that. Tashaka Malik read it, and they took it down. If y'all love Baba so much, why y'all took it down? Why don't y'all put it back up? Since if y'all claim y'all love him so much, they're not going to do it. Why? Because they are witches. They are evil. They are a coven. Okay? And they have alliance and a pact with Satan. And at the end of the day, he don't give a damn about y'all either. Because you see what he does to all the celebrities. They always wind up dying in a hotel, overdosing, hanging themselves, killing themselves, look like Whitney Houston in a bathtub. Baba said, their God is Juno. Laugh now and cry later. That symbol that you see them with that clown face or that mask where one is smiling and the other one is upside down. Baba said that's who their God is. And when you hear them go up on when they get in awards and they said, I want to thank God, Baba said that's who they're talking to. They're talking to their God. Laugh now and cry later. Okay? So don't be like them, laughing now and crying later. Because a lot of them, they trust me, they was laughing. They had all this clout in the tribe and they crying now. Nefer Amenhotep was the pharaoh. Baba gave her all his power. You know what happened to her? Damien Alvin Pryor headbutted her in the face, broke a bone in her face, and all his blood was all over her shirt and everything. She had to go to the hospital. And before that, he got in a relationship with her. He was driving out of a rental car spot and killed the man in the car. You see? They're murderers. Like it says in John chapter 8, verse 44. Says let me read that real quick, and then we're going to get back into this about the Stargate and what the master teacher taught me. The reason why he's really in there is because they're trying to prevent him from opening the Stargate. Hold on, John. I should know about heart. I quote it so much. John 8:44. 8:44. King James Version. Hear what it says. It says, ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning. So it's letting you know that they're killers and abode not in the truth, meaning that they don't walk in the truth because there is no truth in him. They are liars. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. That means that they are good at lying. And like I said, this devil that we're dealing with is a master deceiver. So stop, don't think you can out trick him or out fool him. He is a master. The only thing that can protect you from the wiles of the evil one is the living in the truth, walking in Wu Sabat, and staying on Pa Taruk. There's no other way to defeat the devil. The only way you're going to defeat him is staying close to Panabab Yanun. And how do you do that? By walking Pa Taruk, staying on the path, studying the doctrine, living in the word, and keeping and cleaning yourself in the blood of the Lamb. Now, let's get back on. So again, remember I told you that they're titles, they're not names. Let's move on. So again, the Pope who heads Italy, one of the countries controlled by the beast, the President of the United States, as well as political leaders of other countries around the world are all a part of the Brotherhood of Satan. What they don't want to tell you is that there is a connection between the Bush. Who assigned Judge Charles Ashley Royals, y'all? Who assigned him to a Bush? President Bush assigned him. And when they went to Florence, Colorado, ADX prison, who runs that prison? Bush. You ask the sisters that going on a visit, a picture of him is there. And somebody said, one of the sisters went in there and said, why is that picture still there? And he said, because Bush runs this prison. Again, what they don't want to tell you is that there's a connection between the Bush and the Roosevelt family. All of them are related in some way or another. They refer to themselves as the royal family. What is the judge name, y'all? Judge Charles Ashley Royals. It's not common knowledge that former Vice President Quayle is related to George Bush, not to mention Richard Bruce Chancey, Secretary of Defense. You would never guess the woman they consider the most sexiest woman who ever lived. Yes, late President Kennedy's mistress, Marilyn Monroe, who's also links back to the Bush, not to mention Benedict Arnold, who is the fourth cousin of Abraham Lincoln. And somebody told me in the chat that Baba said that Sherlock Holmes was Benedict Arnold, and that's the dude who was murdering everybody. What does it say in John chapter 8, verse 44? That they are murderers. That's what it says. It says he was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth. What do? They use this country. They kill. What do their children do? Kill. What did they try to do to me? Kill me. How did the young elder, Quanz William Hill, know that? How did he know that, y'all? They all are working together. They're friends, they're minions, and the tribal members with titles. They all are working together. If they wasn't working together, why did they leave that? And it's still up on YouTube with Baba being sick like that and skinny like that, his eyes bulging out his head, him having angioedema attacks, with them torturing him to take that bogus plea. And guess what? That brother Sai called himself Sinetta. Him, look at his name. His name looked like Satan too. What's wrong with him now? They said that. Now I'm telling you what it was told to me. And people don't lie in New York. They said he got AIDS. And know what he said? He said, no, I don't have AIDS. They made a mistake. And then when they first checked me, they said it was leukemia. First they said it was AIDS. And then when I got a second check, they said it was leukemia. He looked sick. He looked tired. He looked ugly. And he looked like he got something. They all got curses on them for messing with a live pharaoh, for messing with the master and his and their children and their seed here on earth. Because like I said, the master teacher's in there because they're trying to prevent him from opening up the Stargate. Now, what else does Baba says? Benedict Arnold, who is the fourth cousin of Abraham Lincoln. Bush has a long line of relatives, all familiar names, such as Betty Davis, Winston Churchill, and the Roosevelts. That is late President Franklin D. Roosevelt and Teddy Roosevelt. If you keep looking, you'll find out that there are at least 10 other people who have had major roles in the White House that are also related to Bush, whether it be intermarrying or direct bloodline. There were over 21 United States presidents that were related. This should come as no surprise. They are all intertwined. This is what the illuminated, we know the Illuminati, the illuminated ones are all about. They intend to keep the ruling power in the family, the royal family. Why? Because they can keep control of the country, help institute one worldism. If every ruler or what you call president feels exactly the same way, you have the relatives of Bush through marriage in the Eisenhower family and the Nixon family. Zachary Taylor, James Madison, and James Monroe are all a part of this so-called royal clan. Again, royal clan. What did Baba call Waki? The clan mother. Who is she? The head of the coven of all witches. Okay? She is. All right? And they're all witches. Nefa was a witch. Raina was a witch. Dana is a witch. All of them. The sister Hotep Amunet, North Carolina, witch. They're all witches and warlocks. And that's why you never see them without a man. Okay? Baba said anytime you see a woman that's had more than 3 husbands, she's a witch. Now, and what do? They plan is to promote one worldism. The popes from the Vatican City, the Kennedy family, and the Churchill family are only a few of the devil's advocates who hold power around the world. Now, who did Donald Trump pick as what's that medicine man, the head of the medicine, CDC or whatever? What is his name? Kennedy, right? Why do you think Donald Trump picked him? The Kennedys. Who was Rosemary in the movie Rosemary's Baby? Baba said that was really, what's her name? What's that lady name? Jacqueline Kennedy. And Baba says she was really a jackal, like a dog. And in the movie Omen, you watch that one, when he went digging the grave, he saw a dead dog in there, a jackal. And so in the movie Rosemary's Baby, all those witches kept saying, they picked you. He picked you of all women of the world because she was half dog and half female. And Baba had a salon across the street, down a block from the Dakota House on 72nd Street called Vidal Sassoon. He told me this out of his own mouth. I got this in writing, y'all. I said, what? And they used to come in there to get hair removed from their bodies because they hairy. You know how Celtics are. They have all this hair all over them. So I'm pretty sure he met her or saw them in there. You feel me? Baba said he was part ownership. They used to come in there and get their hair shaved off their body. They used to get waxes done, the women, because they have all this hair all on their neck, all behind their back. I'm pretty sure some of you seen them. I went to school with Caucasians, so when I was in my junior high school year, I was around them Celtics, and I used to be like, damn, how you got hair in the back of your neck like that? Dog. And you see them when the sun hit them, the women, they got hair all over their face. And so you see this like light fuzz. It look like peach fuzz, but it's all over their face. They have hair all over them because they're dogs. I mean, let's be honest. That's who their ancestors are. So now, then Baba says, the Pope from the Vatican City, the Kennedy family, and the Churchill family, only a few of the devil's advocates who hold power around the world. If you would just open your eyes, you would see the baby was born right here in the United States in New York, the pit of the devil on 72nd Street, in an apartment house that has been around since the latter part of the 1800s. This house is popular amongst the occultists because it housed witches and warlocks. In the movie Rosemary's Baby, Adrian Mercado. What was the name of that lawyer that they got for Baba? Adrian Patrick. You see? Adrian Mercado was the chief warlock, devil, who gained the most attention. He was born in Glasgow, Scotland in 1849 AD and came sometime after to New York. The singer Roberta Flack has been a resident of the Dakota House for many years. In fact, Donny Hathaway was said to have committed suicide from her apartment window, and it's still questioned in many minds if he was a sacrifice to Satan. Now, y'all remember that song they did before he died called You and I Back Together Again? That was Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway. That's on that song. And if you watch Music Unsung, which they probably listening to me now, they probably going to take it down. But if you go back and listen to Music Unsung, his wife said, Layla Hathaway's mother said that he kept telling them they trying to steal my music. They trying to take my music, and he tried to make him go crazy and make him seem like he was losing his mind. You feel me? And they tried to make it look like suicide. But as you see what the master teacher said, he said it's still a question in many minds if he was a sacrifice to Satan. So we already know what that was. So now, Adrian Mercado participated in the Sabbath, one of their rituals, and was one of the chief priests who conjured up the devil. He died in 1922 AD, and in 1886 AD, his son, Stephen Mercado, was born in New York, who, not by coincidence, lived in the same apartment house as Rosemary. Because remember in the movie, Rosemary's house was connected to his. And it was a closet that she went inside. Y'all got to watch the movie. I don't want to talk about it. Y'all watch the movie. He lived in the same apartment house as Rosemary. Later in the story, we find out that Adrian Mercado is the devil and that Rosemary baby was named Adrian because it was he who had come from hell and manifested as part man and as part beast to begot a son by a mortal woman, Rosemary. The devil knows the name you choose tells your life story. Thus, the name Adrian was chosen for his son. Again, what is that lawyer's name, y'all? Adrian Patrick. You get it? Baba said they're not names, they're titles. Now, this book was written 20-something years ago, 25, almost 30, 35 years ago. He makes a point to disguise his nature, and the reality is he is an evil being by choosing common names which appear to have no significant meaning. The name Adrian, Andy, is a good example of this. Now, let's see what the name Adrian said. The master teacher breaks that down too. Oh, shoot, can y'all hear me? Okay. So, this is what it says about the name Adrian. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if y'all hear me what I said and if y'all missed anything. Somebody say something in the chat, please, before I continue. Because I don't want to be talking to myself. Anybody in the chat? Can somebody say something? Hello? Okay, cool. All right, I see the hearts going up. Thank you so much. Just wanted to know. Now, Mercado participated in the Sabbath, one of their rituals, and was one of the chief priests who conjured up the devil. Like I said, he died. Okay, thank you. Okay, good. All right. Now, later in the story, you find out that Adrian Mercado was the devil and that Rosemary Baby was named Adrian because it was he who had come from hell and manifest as part man, as part beast, to begot a son by a mortal woman, Rosemary. The devil knows the name you choose tells your life story. Okay, so now let's get into the name Adrian. Adrian, a masculine given name. Middle English from Latin, Adrenu, Hadranu, of the Adriatic Sea, a Roman family. Name Rome is the seat of the devil and is the fourth Roman Empire, Hadria, the Adriatic Sea, taken from the American Heritage Dictionary of the English language. Adrian stems from the word adriat, which means skillful and clever, especially in the exercise of the mental faculties of ingenious persons. So Adrian means expert, clever, skillful, and artful. These are definitely the attributes of Satan. And there are many people who know about this beastly child that was born in 1966 AD. Okay? So now, then Bob also gets into everything about the Pope. He talks about the Catholic, Egyptology. I mean, I could go on and on, y'all. It says the involvement It says the involvement of the Catholic Church in satanic worship is also dramatized in the film Rosemary's Baby. There's a scene in which Adrian Mercado, who is portraying the part of Satan, and the Pope, the chief warlock, were directing the preparation of Rosemary for the conception of the devil's son. That visit was for 13 hours. 13 years from 1966 AD to 1970 AD. This year was called the International Year of the Child. Not children, just one child. They made you think that they were concerned with all the children internationally, but really their primary concern was one child, the child of the devil. This child was the one born in 1966 AD and was the 13th and was just 13 years old in 1979. So Bob already explains. I don't want to get back into that, talk too much about that, but I just wanted you all to see that this is real, okay? They did a satanic ritual with our master teacher, and Waki is a part of it. Joseph Hibner is a part of it. Robbie was a part of it. Neefel was a part of it. Rick was a part of it. Mary Elaine York, who y'all call Fatima York, who y'all call Mad Carre, she was a part of it. Okay? All them people that used to go up to visit Baba, they all were a part of it. And I used to watch them. They used to come back from the visit. They used to give us updates. And they be talking to us like as if Baba's talking to us. Baba said, yeah, when the time come for the crafts to come, you won't make it. He said, that chain you got on will get up there, but you won't. He said, we'll drop you off on the moon. And they was talking to us like Baba was talking to us. And then Baba said, when I come out, all of y'all are going to be gone. It's only going to be enough of y'all to fit inside of a Volkswagen. And the thing is, he wasn't talking to us. He was talking to them that lived on Tamaray. He said it was about 300 of them on that land, I think. I'm not sure because I didn't live on Tamaray. And he said when it's all over, it's only going to be about 7 of y'all. He said it's going to be enough of y'all to fit inside a Volkswagen. He was talking to them niggas on the land. He told them that. He said, all of this is going to be gone. Listen, I had people that was on Tamaray that knew me from the Ansar Allah community, that lived in a mosque with me, told me Baba said he predicted everything. Said he was going to get locked up, said this was going to be gone, told this sister, please, you going to leave me. Said this one, oh, please, y'all ain't going to want to take care of me. I'm going to be an old man. Y'all all going to go off and get men and have babies and forget all about me. He told them all to their face that they were going to leave him. He told them all to their face that this was going to happen. And the last day that he was on the land, and I was told this by Hagar Marie, I was told this by Iris Katrina Hamilton, and I was told this by Hajar, that Baba said he went around asking everybody, who am I? Somebody said, oh, you Atum Ray. He said to another person, who am I? He said, oh, you Imam. I mean, Dr. York, you the man of the hour. He said, who am I? Who am I? And then he turned around and he looked at all of them. He said, I am Melchizedek and I am the tester. And don't you all forget it. So, if you think you ain't being tested, those of you who are in, those of you who claim you walk with us, those of you who are Musbatu Sabians, we are all being tested. This is the great test of time to see who will stand by the master, because it can all be good when he's around. But the only time you know when somebody really care about you is when you dead or in jail. And they most definitely was not going to take the master teacher out of here, even though he wanted to leave. He said his daughter Luak came and said, no, not now, Baba, not now. And if it wasn't for who the master teacher was, he wouldn't be here, and neither would I. They would have took me out, y'all. I promise you, it was extraterrestrials in the sky that saved me. And those who did the ritual, they know it. They know that it was extraterrestrials, because they was like, first of all, let me tell you something that's deep. And I'm going to put this on the wall too. When I got to my hotel, there was two big Gifon. You know what those Gifon demons are? They got the face of an eagle, the body of a lion, and wings like a big giant bird. There was one to the left and to the north. Big giant freaking eagles. I said, yo, I was staying at the Hilton Hotel in Miami. Look it up. You'll see. It's these two big giant birds there. And what's that guy name? Tracy Morgan. Lamborghini was there. Now, what bugged me out about this is my sister, right, wanted me to double date with her with these two guys. It was two, we was in a car. She said, we going to a comedy show, blah, 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 in the Bronx. I said, all right, yeah, all right, I'll go. I said, they got food there? She was like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. So we get in the car. My sister and the two guys is in the front, me and my sister's in the back, and we talking. They come and pick us up, and we talking. And so I asked one of the dudes, I said, what y'all do what you do for a living? What y'all do? And they looked at each other, and they didn't want to say anything. And I said, what's the matter? And then I said, come on. And I, convinced them to tell me. And they said, we work on the island. We correction officers. So I started laughing, right? I said, oh, okay, well, I'm not mad at y'all. But, there was, in New York, a lot of New Yorkers, we don't respect the police. It's because of the way they put them uniforms on and turning it. They think they Superman, some of them. And so I didn't say anything. I said, oh, it's okay. I said, where you work at? Which part of, we started talking, a conversation. So we get to the comedy club, and it was really good. It was real. I ain't gonna lie, the comedy was good. So, and the music was banging too. So I was on the floor, dancing. Song came on, and I was dancing or whatever. And then this guy comes over me, start dancing with me. And his face looked familiar, but I didn't say anything. I said, ain't he that dude? I said, he looked like he been on TV before. So he dancing, and so he had a cast on his arm. So then he said, you want a drink? And I said, nah, I don't really drink. I said, oh, you can give me a pina colada. He said, no, you drinking with me. I said, no, I can't mess with that Hennessy. He gave me a Coca-Cola with Hennessy on the rocks, and I sipped some of that or whatever. We was talking, we was dancing and stuff. I had a good time. It wasn't a lot of people there, but it was enough people there. And the comedy was hilarious. It was a dude that had a turban on his head, and he had an incense stick that he lit, and he was acting like Erykah Badu, because that was that song Tyrone came out. And he flipped it on the women and said, I'm going to call Keisha, something LaQuisha, saying, I'm going to call LaQuisha, tell her to come. And, he switched the song from a female version to a male version. And it was really funny. It was really fun. I really had a nice time. And I was dancing with the guy. And then I was wanting to leave. Like, I don't know, for some reason. He liked me. And I said, wait a minute, this dude from Mad TV, right, in my mind. So then we left. And so the dudes, they was ready to drop us back home. He said, yo, what happened to you? And that was Tracy Morgan, right? I said, oh, that's his name. They was like, yeah, from Martin. And my sister said, he do Hustle Man on Martin. I said, oh, okay. And so the dude said, what's the matter? What happened? Like, why did I just, disappear like that? I said, I don't know. It's something about him. I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it. He kept turning around. He was dancing with me, giving me his butt too much. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, what's going on with this? But it was all fun, it wasn't disrespectful. He was very respectful. He was a gentleman and a scholar. He treated me really nice. And I asked him what happened to his arm. And he said that he had bought a brand new Ford Expedition and it had a running board on it and it was raining. He had on brand new Air Force Ones. So he's short because he's like almost my height. He said when he went to go get up in the car in the rain, he slipped on a running board and he hit his elbow. And that's how he broke his arm. And he had the cast on it. And I was like, oh, man. He said, yeah, but I'm good. I'm still holding. I said, you still drive? How'd you get here? He said, I drive with my other hand. I said, oh, I know that's right. We kind of laughed it off or whatever, but I left. But when I got to the hotel that day that they tried to take me out, there was a white boy there when I pulled up because I was driving from Orlando to Miami. When I pulled up in the hotel, the guy said, I said, oh, this a Lamborghini. He was like, yeah. I said, that's what's up. It was a chubby white dude, looked like he was like one of them computer nerds that make all the money playing games. Something like that he said he did. And I said, oh, wow, you got the Lamborghini. I said, what do you do? I said, you look like a nerd. He said, no, I forgot what he told me he did. He said, I bought this Lamborghini from Tracy Morgan. I said, what? And it just bugged me out. Like, I was just sitting there looking at it like, and I just walked in my hotel room. I said, I wonder what that means. Because the master teacher used to teach us all the time, there's no such thing as a coincidence. So I was trying to figure out why. I said, what is that supposed to mean? But his name, Tracy, his last name is Morg. You never know. Maybe if I would have talked to him, or maybe if I would have kicked it with him and took his number or pursued his, whatever, I probably would have wound up in the morgue. I don't know. I don't know, y'all. But I just found that crazy. So then I went up to my room. It was really nice too. Went up to my room. I was like, oh, this room is nice. I could stay here for like a day or two or whatever before I go home, because I like, I don't really like hotels, but this was really clean and really nice. And I was on the top floor. And I went online. I could hear Baba talking to me, extraterrestrials. They said, go online, take a look. So I said, online? I said, okay, let me go online. And I look, I start scrolling. The young elder left a message. She's out, y'all. Tabitjet. They took her out. They took her out, y'all. And in my mind, I said, yo, what is this? And I responded. And I said, what do you mean you took me out? I'm right here. That's what I said. I said, what do you mean y'all took me out? I said, I'm right here. Just like that. And then know what he did? He erased it. He erased it. And then y'all heard me say to him on his live, he said, the reason why I said that was because a dude named Blue and Bun was the one that told me that they took you out. And that's a lie. When I asked the spiritual people about him, right? And I asked other Nawapians about him, and people was talking, because let me tell you something. All of y'all, black devils, hold on a second. Excuse me, my throat got dry. All y'all black devils in this tribe, y'all think people don't know who you are. They don't say nothing. They be looking right at you, knowing who you are. They don't say nothing. So me, I'm just coming to tell y'all about the coven of witches in this tribe and how they set things up and how the master teacher's in there. And our prayers will release him. And yeah, just because they speak Sabbatia, that don't mean nothing either, because they come in and they try to speak the language. And Baba said, I gotta find a book. It was another, I think it was a master secret that I was reading. The master teacher said in the master secret that they trying to distort our language. They're trying to switch our teachings, and they're trying to lie. So that's why the young elder got his channel up. That's why that thing that they got a Bible, that picture of the master teacher in the courthouse, they still got that up on YouTube. And anybody else that's slandering him, but me, they don't like. You see? Now, when I'm now it's flipping, it's reversing on them. The spell is reversing, and now it's about them. And now their pictures are going up on the wall. They're being exposed for what they did, and now they don't like it, and they're trying to make me out to be the bad guy. And the thing is this, I said to myself, why do y'all have this energy for them niggas that put the our master teacher up there in court and put it on YouTube for the world to see, for the people that was slandering his name, saying that he did this, knowing that Abigail lied and Jacob and them lied. Bob's house was an open door for all of us. We all could walk in and out of his house. He lived right there with us. If he was a pedophile or a child molester, don't you think they would go in secret somewhere and hide and do this? The master teacher did not have children around him. He was too busy. Everything was segregated. This would have been came out years ago. Years ago, stuff would have came out. That's why these sisters that got together, and Abigail, she knew exactly who to get. And that's why Jacob needed her, because she lived on the land the longest, and she was close to Ponabad Yanun, and she did the bank runs. Baba's accountant came and said that Baba paid his taxes, and Baba said, I didn't really have to pay taxes because I'm a diplomat. Diplomats don't even have to pay taxes, but I did anyway. You feel me? Listen, y'all. This was an elaborate scheme, and this was all done by witchcraft. So all them people that Kermit Dwayne Nolan talking about, you keep talking about witchcraft and stick with the legal. Shut the hell up, nigga. I got something for you. I can't wait. I can't wait because I'm putting you on my wall, and I got something for you. So I hope you ready, dummy. You shouldn't have kept my name out your mouth. All right. I was trying to be nice. I didn't even I still got all the recordings from before. And I'm gonna let it be. I got all the recordings from you and I recorded every last one of them. I got them. I'm gonna let everybody hear you screaming and yelling and cursing like a maniac. We're gonna see who's the emotional person. And Sabian Assassin, aka Amunum, aka Eldridge Austin, you took all of your stuff down because you was on there threatening the Smack sisters and everything, screaming and yelling and all of that. Y'all trying to act like I'm this monster, and I'm not. I'm telling the truth. All right? I'm speaking the truth to all of y'all about these witches and the things that they did to the master teacher. All right? Hold on, I got something else I want y'all to check out. Matter of fact, we could save that for another time, because I've been on here talking for an hour and a half. I'm tired, y'all. But I just wanted to break that down about what happened to young Pharaoh. I don't know, y'all. Stop acting gangster. Stop acting gangster. I'm from Brooklyn. That's how I talk. I'm not trying to act like anything. Anybody who knows me will tell you this is how I talk, brother. Amani Brook. I'm from Brooklyn, so it's just my accent. I'm not trying to sound like a gangster. Hello, good night. Correct, correct, correct. Let me see if anything I gotta say. Anybody got anything to say? R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. I don't know who that is. All right, ain't nobody saying it. Somebody called me Black Pepper. Maybe what I was talking about. You talking about Charlie Kirk? I don't know who Charlie Kirk is. Cheddar? No, I don't know. Rahul back, y'all. Anyway, so I just wanted to let y'all know. I'm gonna go live again, and I'm gonna name all the names of the people that got curses on them. And I want y'all to start checking them out, start looking at these people, and you'll see what I'm saying. You understand? Like I said, that brother from London, he looked like a rat to me. Okay? He looked like a freaking rat. I'm not impressed with your arm tweed and your velour. He got one in blue and gold and black and gold. How you try to look so freaking perfect and so shiny and clean. You look like a rat to me. All you missing is the tail, them teeth that stick out your mouth, and them freaking whiskers, nigga. That's what you look like to me. You're not the master teacher. All right? And if you're going to talk and teach, you need to give reference to where you're getting the information from. You need to make reference to the doctrine and say this is from Dr. Malachi York, and that's how you need to teach. Stop acting like you got this esoteric information and you talking about to people who don't understand what's going on. Because reality is, all you're doing, to be honest, you're really just being used. Because people are seeking sound right reason. People want to know what's going on, and y'all sitting up here acting like it's you when it's really the master teacher. You know, the Bible said that this case was also created so that the world will know who he is. So now back to the Stargate. Before I forgot, I almost forgot. So the math teacher said he had 2 hermaphrodites and hermaphrodites, meaning he had 2, he only needed 2 more on the land. And he was teaching them ancient hieroglyphs, and Abigail, was teaching people the Nubic, because they created Arabic and the Nubic and mixed it and created their own language. And that's what she was doing to distort the people. You understand? And so that's why the master teacher's in there. They're trying to prevent him from opening the Stargate. And he said Amun-Ra got pissed off because the family on the land, he said they should have known not to let them Caucasians in. Now, I don't know what that meant because I didn't live on Tamaray. He said they should have known better letting them Caucasians in. And so that's what I'm saying, that Sister Gwen and a lot of them were all federal agents living on the land, you know, and Baba put them in charge. That's what he does. She was in charge of the land, and she was an agent. So you looking at all these people with these titles, who do y'all think they are? When I lived in the Cleveland community, them people that was in charge, they was negative, man. They were disagreeable. They used to feed us one thing and go to the store and get special things that they would cook for them and they made. And say to me, oh, you know, Karatu An, if you had a mate, you know, you can get the brother, there's a brother that like you, the brother Luke, man. I was like, I don't like that freak. I don't even know him. I'm going to just start talking to somebody I don't freaking know. Some doy bird. That's what I used to call him. And, you know, corny. He didn't even look like he had swag enough to be around me. You know, I come from a neighborhood where, you know, we rap, we rank on each other, we laugh. You know, I'm a city girl. I don't come from the country. So I was like, who's this freaking corny dude named Luke? And then we used to go in the masjid to make prayer. His socks used to be dirty. I was like, man, get out of here. Think I want to be with somebody like that and then wind up having a baby and you know, by some dude, some stranger that, nah, I did not see my life going that way. You understand? I had self-control, you know, and that's just what it is, you know. People try to make me out there, but I'm not a freaking lesbian. I'm not a part of this, you know, love who you are and all that other stuff. I'm not with none of that crap. My niece asked me, what should she tell her daughter about gay stuff, about the rainbow, you know, the rainbow, whatever. I said, what? She said, you know, in school, this is before, because Donald Trump shut all that down. But she said, what should I tell my daughter? I said, tell her it represents Skittles. And then she said, well, what if she wants one of the shirts? I said, get her a Skittles t-shirt and say it means Skittles. I said, whatever they put in your daughter's mind, reverse it. When she come home, say, no, that's not what it means. What did your mother tell you? Or go up to the school. Y'all just letting them just put anything in your freaking child head. Children don't think about sex unless somebody introduces them to it. They want to play. They want to have fun. They want to go outside. They might have a boy that they like in school that they looking at, or a boy may like a little girl or something like that, have a crush on a little girl, but it's innocent. You know what I'm saying? They're not thinking about having sex unless their parents are teaching them that crap. That's the last thing on a child's mind is sex. They want to play. They want to jump rope. They want to go outside. They want to watch cartoons with those children voices. They want to be innocent. They're not thinking about be who you are, or now some boy is in the classroom and he's a cat. He come to school with a bowl with some milk in it. Like, that's just freaking stupid, man. That's the Celtics mentality, man. They're a sick race. They're sick people, man. And yeah, they mixed in with us. Those Nephilims came down and mixed in, and then they mixed in with us, and now their seed is all around the planet. Like I said, Black man gets on a bus, sits behind the lady, and just slices her freaking throat like a maniac. And they locked him up, you know? And then them other boys going in school shooting up everybody. They snatching children off the street, running in vans with them, snatching them up. Like, this is crazy, man. It's just crazy. And stuff like that pisses me off, you know? Parents are on drugs, nodding down. They got their head down in the ground, you know? And their kids is with them and stuff like that. It's just getting out of hand. It's just really out of hand what's happening all over the world. And there's so much fightings on the train, so much killings, and they can't even cover it on the news. They can't even cover it. But you have to be smart enough to say, let me go in here and put stabbing and let me see what comes up. And you'll see. Let me put in here missing child and see what comes up. And you'll hear the stories of these horrible things that these people are doing, man. This girl got her niece and nephew nephew in a bin and her niece wrapped up in a blanket in a suitcase. She was driving around it for months. These are Nagaru, these are Nubians, okay? These are Nagaru people, our Shakasu. We in the end of times, man, and they still trying to make evil fair seeming. It's over for them. Y'all witchcraft and all y'all sorcery, it says in the book of Revelations that it was over. In 1 hour, it was all gone. So y'all lose in the end. I don't care what it looks like to y'all. Y'all think the master ain't coming home. He will be out of there. And he told me stop telling y'all when he'll be out because I don't know. He said, you know, put it this way. If he let everybody know when he's coming out, then the people will start getting ready. So if you don't know, then he come and catch you how you are. That way you can't pretend that you anything. Because he'll see. And I know how Baba is, man. He wants, y'all don't, man, Baba's a gangster. Y'all don't know. And he's a good man, though. He's a good man. But he got a side to him that ain't nothing to play with. Y'all think y'all gonna play him? Wait till he come out when he step foot out of there. Like I said, y'all know who went in, but you don't know who coming out. Wait till he come out of there, what he do. And Baba said to me, he told me this out of his own mouth. He said, I was always feared as Amun Ra. He said he was always, and that's who's coming because we in the end. Then y'all ain't getting Atom Ray. That's who got locked up. That's not who's coming out. Y'all watch and see. Keep on thinking it's a joke. And y'all, it's getting ready to get real ugly. And if you ain't got the mark of the seal of the Father on your forehead, if you ain't amongst those multitude of people, like it says in the book of Revelations, hold on, Revelation chapter 21, where it says, this is what it says. Now I just turned to this. It says, and from the mouth, the Messiah Jesus' message came a sword which possessed two-edged, a tongue of truth, to be able to cut off lies. His tongue is likened unto a sharp sword, and just like the Anunnaki Elohim, who as a lamb will come before the return of the Messiah Jesus to prepare the people and raise 144,000. The two-edged sword symbolizes the knowledge of Arabic and English, enabling him to decipher the scriptures of Theos so that he will be able to explain them to the uneducated people, to hit all nations, and to govern over them with a rod of iron, representative of how the Messiah will be a warrior of truth. And he trampled the winepress where the souls will be squeezed from man's body of the intoxicant of the punishment of the wrath of Theos and the controller of all, in between the time of judgment and the new day, which represents the 13th hour or the period of time beginning after the year 2000 AD, all men will be in a state of loss, except the 144,000 and those who worked for the perfection of truth and exalted one another in patience. And with that, I'm out, y'all. I'll get into some more of this because I had something else that I wanted to read y'all about the 144,000 in the Crystal City and how it is, how the master put it in my mind to help me understand those of us who gonna make it, how it's gonna be. Because if I'm in the South Wing and you in the West Wing, the South Wing could be in China, the West Wing could be in New York City. That's how big the craft is. So I'll be in China in my school of thought with a Siddhartha stone, and you may be in another place with the with the onyx stone, being taught a different thought, or being raised in a different school of thought, you know. And then we all gonna come together and trap the devil and lure him and bound him forever, and all those who follow him. So all of these people who are doing this, all these witches, these warlocks, they're gonna all have their day. And like I said, I'm glad I'm not any of them. I don't want your power that you have. I don't want the cars that you drive. I don't want the home that you live in. I don't want the jewelry that you have. I don't want the visits that you go. I don't want to see Baba in there like that in prison. I don't want to have to go up there and look at him behind a bar. You understand? Because if he ever say he want to talk to me, I'm going to be uncomfortable. Like, what did I do? You feel me? So when they going up there, y'all better take a y'all better look at another way and look at all the people who used to go up there was never good people. They were never good people. They all had they had something to do with the master being in there, and all them niggas that support them, and all them devils, Tashaka Malik and his raising, and the Masonic and the Eastern Stars, they're all witches and warlocks. One for all for one. That's how them niggas live. So y'all better start waking up and coming together and start having each other's back. Because these demons, that's what they do. Y'all better do like they do and have each other's back and stop slandering me. And y'all better start checking these people. Don't be afraid of them because they can't do nothing to you. They could talk all that spell, voodoo, all that stuff. Please, I diss that nigga Marcus Lucian. Put him on my wall. Think I give a damn about a Haitian? Y'all can't do nothing to me, and y'all know it. Freaking lying, freaking spirits and evil, freaking wicked ass niggas. That's why y'all had that freaking that earthquake over there, and it'll be another one. Keep on messing with the children of the Most High and watch what happens to y'all niggas. Keep on thinking it's a game and y'all got some powers over us. Y'all don't have no powers over us. We got the powers. And in the end, you lose. And that's how the math teacher is. He said he going to look at he going to say, get behind me, you devils. I never knew you. You workers of iniquity. That's what y'all like. Y'all like listening to these freaking cowards and these punks that sit in front of you with the freaking entrée on because you want to go to church every Sunday because you're still under the spell of religion. Because if you was real, you was really about this life, you wouldn't need to listen to nobody. You wouldn't need for nobody to tell you no, because all you got to do is read the doctrine. You could hear Baba talking to you. You could really hear his voice talking when you read the doctrine. I don't need nobody in this tribe telling me nothing about sound right reason unless it's something new that Baba said he wants the family to know that I never heard of like he did with Genetic Kiss. Nobody heard of genetic kiss until the math teacher wrote about it. Nobody knew about liquid gold until he wrote about it. None of us knew about our ancestors and how they inside of us, how you can suppress them, and that when you feed into them those desires, that they grow, and when you suppress them, they become lower, and the good ones and the bad ones. We didn't know none of that until the master teacher told us. And the real affirmation is from mouth to ear. So the reality is, you niggas don't really know nothing. What you think you know, you don't know. And there's stuff that I know that you don't know. And I'm not saying anything because it wasn't told in my letter to let my words be known. I'm not saying nothing. Y'all sit back and watch and see what happened. All y'all niggas who did this to Baba, you're going to go down. And you're already falling down. 9999 just went by. Okay? It's over for y'all. It's over. Ain't no coming back from what you did. You can't take it back because the damage was done already. And our ancestors, they got it recorded and they watching y'all. Baba said he going to find the biggest TV he could find because it's all recorded. And they got a laser disc of what took place. And they going to put it down for everybody to see. So I hope y'all ready. Because we're going to get to see y'all in action. All your witchcraft, all the wickedness that you do, it's all recorded. Extraterrestrials got you on recording, okay? Just like y'all recording this conversation, they're recording you in your homes and the things that you're doing. And the math teacher said he going to find the biggest flat screen TV he could find, and they're going to get the recording and play it for us. And I can't wait. So get ready, niggas, because you're going on television, and everybody's going to see what you did and all your fake love and your fake Rahul Bats. And with that, I'm out, family. Wadu. Thank you for tuning in, okay? Don't forget to subscribe. Like I said, I got love for y'all, and that's why I'm coming live to tell y'all what's going on. Y'all think I'm lying about this stuff, about the Yorks and the Lancasters and the evil and Rosemary's Baby and Satan and devil? Who you think we dealing with? And what they did to Baba, they put his clothes in a coffin and did a ritual, witches and warlocks. People in New Orleans, they got people in New Orleans to do stuff. They got people in Haiti to do stuff, and we got them. We got them. They cannot lock up a man like the master. He was assigned to this planet by extraterrestrials who built this planet. This is their planet, not theirs. And they called it a home away from home. And the devil and his evil beings were cast down. Okay? They were sent here. So all we got to do is keep in the word of the master and walk upright and watch what happens. That's what I'm getting ready to do. Well, that's what I'm doing it now anyway. Been doing it since he been in there. He been in there 23 years, and I've been by his side. I have not left the master. He gave me instructions, told me what was up. Told when we first started writing each other, he said, don't let people know I write you because then it's going to be problems. I said, oh, okay, don't worry. I didn't know. I thought writing everybody. He wasn't. I said, oh, I ain't going to say nothing. I didn't say nothing. I didn't say a word to nobody. I kept it a secret for years. I never said a word. Did exactly what he said. He made things public, you know? And then I just respect him. I respect the master teacher. I do. And whenever he does something, I know it's a reason. I don't always agree, you know? And I don't have to always agree. I don't got to agree with everything that Baba does. I don't agree with everything. But then later on down the line, I say, oh, I see what he was doing. I understand it. You understand? But I don't always agree with everything, you know? And I don't like some of the things that's done. I don't. But this is his life. You understand? And I was asked to do my part, and I'm doing what was asked of me. And I'm just going to, you know, Baba's a man, and he's the master, and I respect him as my master teacher. I respect him as my mate. You understand? I love being Sabian. I love being a Muspatu Sabian, and I'm not going nowhere. Sorry. Y'all tried. I'm not going nowhere. You could do whatever you want to. Some of his kids, all of y'all. Y'all could do all that wickedness, all that devilishment, because guess what? It's all going to catch up on your behind. And you think because you're his child, oh, you could be, no, that don't mean nothing. You getting it too. Any of y'all that went against him, slandering his name, trying to be all sneaky, acting like you working on something. You wasn't working on nothing, York. Your whole conspiracy was to work with the young elder to prevent me from getting money because you was scared that I was going to do something your father was going to get out. You was scared. That's why. He didn't want to see your funky, nasty, stinking behind. He didn't want to see you slandering him like a freaking, slandering your father. Disrespecting him, won't read his doctrine, won't respect his followers, throwing water on people. And the lady had a baby in her hand. You threw water out the window on her. Freaking disgusting, taking all the radiators out of the building so that they could shut the building down and all this crazy stuff, messing with Baba's followers. Y'all got all this crazy stuff going on, shooting and stuff and all of that. Man, get out of here. Girl, go sit down somewhere. Sit your funky butt down. Because if you was my daughter, I'd take the strap out on you. I would have been put that strap across your freaking back like a slave. I'd have had you sitting in a freaking corner telling you to shut up. You understand? Or put you away somewhere if you didn't want to listen to me. Ain't no way in the world I'm going to have a daughter of mine acting like that and behaving that way. Your mother, they spoiled y'all. They didn't, you know, spare the rod, spoil the child. I would have been had you sitting down, shutting up somewhere, telling you to shut up. I remember one time, you know what her brother told me? Mahmoud said, oh, my mother don't hit us. because they scared that we're going to do something to them. I said, what? Because we demigod. I'd be like, what? I would have demigod your behind in the corner somewhere. Please. I would have smacked the demigod out of you. You wouldn't have been disrespecting me or your father. That's the problem, man. And then they think they're privileged and somebody owes them something. Nobody don't owe you nothing because everything that your father has, he worked for it. He traveled and he worked day and night. You ask anybody that worked in the office, Baba is a workaholic. You is not going to be sitting in his office, sitting around chilling. We work day and night, night and day. We watch TV. We ate together. We watched TV together. We watched movies. We worked. Baba gave us treats and stuff like that, you know. Like he would come out. We didn't eat too much sugar. We prayed together. It was beautiful. Some of you that wasn't there, you could talk all that cult stuff. Oh, it was a cult. That's a bunch of crap. Y'all don't say that to the Jewish community. You don't say it to them. So why are you saying it to us? They live together. They got their own schools. They got their own buses. They got their own hospitals. They got their own temples. They got their own stores. And they own big houses and they got money. And we could have did the same thing. But guess what? Every time we try to do something, here come the devil and his children. Their own crabs in a bucket. Don't want to see nobody have nothing. Dragging people down. Calling it a cult. It's not a cult. It was a community setting. It was a tabernacle of the Most High. And we seen the master teacher transform. I met El Kupt. I met Yanun. I met Abba Isa. I met Dr. York. I met Rahama with the red eyes. They was inside of the master teacher's body. Okay? Different beings. One time I was sitting in the masjid when I first moved in, and Baba came by. It was Isa, the one with that wear the Emma, that wears head wrap. He came by and he tapped my chair, and the whole chair vibrated like boom, 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 boom. I was like, oh, sweat. I was smiling. He was teaching, and then the Adhan called time for prayer, and he went to go pray. He said, "Excuse me, y'all. I need to go pray." And when he went to go pray, when he put his head down in sajda, the thunder said, boom, boom. It just started pouring down. I'm talking about pouring down rain. Pouring down rain. And then when he finished the prayer, it stopped. I said, oh, sweat, yo. I said, oh, sweat. Somebody blind came in there. It was an elderly lady. Somebody, he is the man. Y'all can front all y'all want to. I seen it with my own eyes. I'm not going to let my mother, cousins, family, none of you people who don't know him make fun of him and laugh and say stuff just like what Jamie did when he passed that picture around. Baba, where your son at now, Jamie? Where's your son at? Your son ain't here now. You know, y'all want to play games with the master. Hey, let me tell you what the brother Kamor told us one day in the temple. Kamor said that when he was on Tamaray, first of all, let me tell you what happened. People was coming to the temple around the deities, leaving garbage around them, around the pharaohs. You had the deity Ma'at, you had the deity Ta, you had Hatshepsut, you had what other? Bastet, the cat. We had all of these deities in the temple. And people were leaving juice bottles, whatever. So Kamor got on the mic. He said, hey, I need to tell y'all something because y'all leaving all this junk around these deities. So I need to tell y'all something. And this is what I seen with my own eyes. He said when he was on Tamaray, because he lived on the land, he said this brother had stopped by. They was talking, having a conversation, and he stopped and looked up at the Olmec statue and started laughing at the nose, saying that it was ugly. And Kamor was looking at him with his eyes wide open like, yo, what is you doing? Do you know? He said that brother left. The next day, he got into a car accident. His wife and all his kids died. And he was the only one that was alive. You keep on playing around with Baba. You keep on messing with their children. And you keep on thinking this is a freaking joke. All right? Like I said, in the Babtet in them is something inside of them. They're demons. You feel me? They open themselves up and they got something in them. And they're going to visit Baba for a reason. You feel me? But keep on thinking this is a freaking joke. Y'all passing Baba's picture around, laughing at him. That's why I said to Monifa, when she mentioned that about Baba, I didn't say nothing about that. I said, oh, I ain't going to say nothing. I said, I'm going to just leave her alone because she may not know better. Then she started talking about Baba in the Parmipta book, how his picture looked. I said, yo, why is this girl slandering Baba? What you trying to say? He looked funny, but you got a crooked spine and you walk twisted. Like the nerve of this chick. Yo, I was so mad, I just never said anything. You understand? And it was like, yo, I got your daughter a job. I try to, we be family and work together. And there's no working with these niggas, man. They humanoids. They don't know. Okay? Y'all don't know. And I'm telling you what I know. Okay? And just like K Moore stood up there and told everybody about about what happened to that dude when he was laughing at the Olmec statue, y'all putting curses on yourselves. Listening to these witches and warlocks, they don't win. Okay? They don't win in the end. Stop listening to these people. Stop thinking that they got the answers to this troubled world. They don't. They are not Pana Bab Yanun. When they start teaching like that, those are 6 ether forces. Making them do that. Making them think that they're not with us. They don't walk with us. They could pretend all they want to. They are not of us. They are of their father, the devil. They are wicked. You know what they did to this brother in London? I forgot his name because it was a while ago. And me, I'm the type of person, when I move on, I move on. I forget about your name, how you look, all that. I'm out. I don't hold on to baggage. I don't carry around baggage. But when you do me wrong, that's when I'm going to remember. But there was a brother who used to box in London. And he got this large settlement. And I don't know if it's that brother that's teaching now on that OSM thing with that bookstore. But if that's him and he got a wife from Nigeria, then that's him. They took all that man's money. Told him they was going to pay him back and do this. They never gave that man his money back. They robbed him. Took all his freaking... He's slow because he's the boxing. He got hit in the head so much. So the boxing industry owed him a check, a settlement that he got from his injuries. And them Nawapians took it all. Took all his freaking money. Like I said, they got a spirit, but they do not have a soul. Look, it's hollow. Like the man on the Wizard of Oz, there's nothing in there. No love. You feel me? Y'all are wasting your time with these people. Stay away from all of them. They're witches. They're a coven of witches. All right? And this is the truth. And with that, I'm going to go, y'all. I've been on this thing for almost 2 hours. Y'all have a nice shadow, okay? Wadu.